is absolutely, positively outrageous. The fact that there is nobody watching and I am spending my Saturday here. The fact that there is no one watching, it is absolutely fucking ridiculous. We need to fix that. There's two people watching. We need to fix that. You see, the fact that there's only two people watching, that is absolutely fucking ridiculous. There's Nathan Kress in here. Kirk, I can't pronounce the last name. I'm sorry. I'm fucking terrible with last names, but here's what we're gonna do. We got this stream to share out. The stream needs to be shared out. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna share it out, and we're gonna get things popping. Because big things are popping, little things are stopping. That's my MVP impersonation right there. So, we're gonna be, here we go, Cool King! Cool King's here, Danielle's here. So we're going to share this stream out to multiple people. We're gonna share the stream out to multiple people. Everything is going to be popping here. We are live here on YouTube. Let's see what we got over here. Hey, Adam, how you doing? Christina Brasher, yes, smash that like button. There you go. Smash that like button. Be sure you smash that like button. Be sure you share the stream out. It's going to be a big stream. As always, we got a lot of material to talk about here on the Lightning Flash Update. It is never a dull moment when you're hanging with DJ Storms. Trust me on that. We are going to have a great 3-hour stream. We're going to dissect all the latest news, rumors, and reports. We are going to dissect 7 weekly shows: Raw, SmackDown, NXT, NXT UK. Oh yeah, don't even get me started on them, Adam. Don't even get me started, man. Don't even get me started. Yeah, Dolph Ziggler losing to Otis in 3 minutes. Unbelievable. Ruben Day! Every day is Ruben Day. How you doing? We already got 7 likes. See if we can get to 10 before we hit... In the next 2 minutes, I want to see if we can get to 10. We got 8 people watching thus far. We need to get to 10 likes. What's going on? How you doing? Nash Okur. Thank you very much for joining. We're going to start in just a minute. Thank you very much. We will start in just a little bit. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be talking about Zelina Vega. Trust me on that. I'm gonna talk about Zelina Vega. So chill, don't worry. I'm gonna be talking about Zelina Vega. I promise you this. I will be talking about Zelina Vega. We're gonna be dissecting everything Zelina Vega related. Stay optimistic. Thank you very much for stopping by the stream. Please hit that like button. Please hit that like button. What we got over here? Thank you very much. Please hit that like button. Oh, thank you very much. Woos is a good friend of mine. Woos is great. Wesley Landon Woosley is fucking awesome. He's been a loyal supporter of mine for a long time. I greatly appreciate all the support that he's offered to me. I cannot thank him enough. He's great at what he does. So please check out Wesley Landon Woosley if you ever get a chance. Check out Wesley Landon Woosley whenever you get a chance. We're just finishing up the sharing. We're just finishing up everything right here. Let's go. I know Danielle has shared out the stream, and we are ready to get started. All right, we are just going to, there we go. Just going to share this out right here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, why don't we get this party started? Why don't we get this party started the right way? Me. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the channel on YouTube.com. As of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle, Wait for it. To mankind. Am right. President. I should run for fucking president at this rate. This is the official Lightning Flash update for Saturday. Yes, Saturday, as always. Saturday, November 14th, 2020, as we are halfway done with the month of November. Time is going quick. First things first, I would actually like to apologize for the technical difficulties that we had last week. I'm not sure what was going on with YouTube, but it seems as though everything here on YouTube has smoothed over. Seems as though everything is going good. I don't want to jinx anything, but so far, everything looks to be running pretty smoothly. Thank you to everyone who is watching right now. Thank you to everyone who is spending your Saturday here with your boy, DJ Storms. Please, 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 please stick around. We have a lot to talk about, including a lot of news and rumors to dissect. We have a lot of material to go over, including Zelina Vega. Yes, Zelina Vega was released less than 2 hours before SmackDown went live on Fox. So we are going to talk about that. We are going to dissect that. We are going to dissect what's going on with Aleister Black. We are going to dissect some news and rumors going into Survivor Series. We are going to dissect an update on the Thunderdome betting odds for the WrestleMania 37 main event. So we got a lot to talk about. Stick around. Here's what I need you guys to do. If you guys haven't already done so, I am not sure why. We have 7 people watching. We got 8 likes. We got 8 people watching. Here's what we need to do. Thank you very much, Cool King. I greatly appreciate all the support. Here's what we need to do. We need to get to 10 likes at least before we get to 15 minutes on this stream. I'm not sure what's going on, but here's what needs to be done. First things first, you need to follow me on the Twitter sticks. Okay? Follow me on Twitter at HistoryMakerDJS. You'll find out why I am the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. Please follow me on Instagram and Periscope at TheDJStorms. I am thinking about going live on Periscope in the coming weeks. My college semester is actually ending in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to be done with finals. So I'm thinking about being a little bit more active on social media. I'm thinking about going on Periscope, really doing chill streams where they're open and you can ask me anything. It would be a nice little break away from the DJ Storms character and the DJ Storms brand to kind of give you guys an insight into my life. So that's definitely something that I want to do. I actually put up a poll on Twitter, and if you guys are interested, please go check that poll. Please go check that poll and vote on whether you would like to have a chill stream with me, whether you want me to go live on Periscope and really break away from the DJ Storms gimmick for a little bit, just to try and give you guys a little realism, a little insight into my life. So please go check out that poll. It's actually pinned to my Twitter profile. Add me on Facebook as well. For collaborations and business inquiries, please send me an email. My email is, of course, stormstakeover@gmail.com. You can find that in the links. The links will be in the description. I will place those in there after the stream is over. Of course, like the official DJ Storms business page on Facebook, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook, that is. All links will be in the description. We are currently at 90 members on the DJ Storms Posse Facebook group. So, I'm trying to get to 100. So if you are interested, please hit me up. Like the official DJ Storms business page. Jessica H! How you doing? Please hit that like button. Hit that like button. We're trying to get to 10 likes already. We're going to get to 20 as well, and then we're going to get to 30. And we're going to keep on going up and up and up and up in the world. So, check out all the links in the description. I will post them after the stream's over. If you guys missed the rewind for AEW Full Gear pay-per-view, the link will also be in the description after the stream is over, where I dissected everything Full Gear related. An awesome pay-per-view it was. If you guys haven't already done so, hit the thumbs up. I'm trying to get into the eyes of many. There we go. We got 10 thumbs up. We got 10 thumbs up in the fucking stream. That's what I'm talking about. So please, if you haven't already done so, hit the thumbs up. I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to expand. Please share the stream out on all platforms of social media, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Periscope or Tinder or Bumble or Tumblr or Pinterest or whatever you use. We are going to get as many likes as we possibly can. So please, share the stream out on all platforms of social media and tell your friends, your family members, your children's, your guinea pig's children's, your puppy's children's, your kitten's children's, everyone. Tell everyone about good old DJ Storm, because everybody wants a piece of DJ Storm. Cameron Johnson, I knew that you were going to show up, Cameron Johnson. So, of course, hit the like button, share the stream out, and keep the conversation going. Keep the chat alive. Talk amongst yourselves. I will be answering the chat after every single weekly show review as well. But first things first, we will get through the news, rumors, and reports. Of course, when you keep the chat alive, you gotta hit the subscribe button, because I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to get into the eyes of many other people. YouTube, they purged about like 12 of my subscribers, and then they gave me back subscribers, so I don't know what's going on. See, Ruben knows what's up. Ruben Day knows what's up. He's doing the right thing here. But of course, when you hit the subscribe button, be sure to hit the notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way, you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube, because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it is the best time to be on YouTube. It's the only time you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. Is there even a question if I have it or not? Of course I have it. Because everybody wants a piece of the Storms Meister. Anyway, enough of the chit-chat. I will be checking the chat after we get through the news, rumors, and reports. Of course I'm being cocky. I mean, I wouldn't be DJ Storms if I wasn't a cocky prick, Jessica. Okay? So, enough of the self-brand promotion and the advertisements. We're going to get straight into the news, rumors, and reports here. So my first report comes from Mike Johnson of PW Insider, who provided an update on the WWE Thunderdome, as if anyone even gives a shit. He wrote, and I quote, "There is no current confirmed plan for WWE's next move, but we are told the company has looked into venues in several states to host the Thunderdome going forward, including Florida, Texas, and Illinois, among others." End quote. Now, I have stated in the past why WWE is doing the Thunderdome. It's because they don't want to take the proper COVID precautions. It's because they're lazy. It's because they don't give a shit. It's because they don't care about their talent, and they don't care about the individuals that watch their programming. Matter of fact, if Vince McMahon could hold events with 20,000 screaming people right now, he would do that. He doesn't give a shit about the virus. He just wants to fucking make money. So at the end of the day, what's going on with the Thunderdome, or whether they have real fans, whether they have virtual fans, whether they have no fucking fans at all, it doesn't matter in the long run, because what everyone, or what the majority of people with brains ultimately care about, is if WWE puts on good shows, is if WWE puts on great storytelling, great feuds, great angles, great wrestling, putting out the proper amount of talent in the proper roles to which we care about them, and they haven't done that. So ultimately, what's going on with the Thunderdome is absolutely fucking irrelevant. I don't give a shit about the Thunderdome. I don't give a shit whether they continue to do the Thunderdome, whether they cancel the Thunderdome, whether it's in Illinois, Florida, or Texas. I am just looking to see good weekly wrestling program. And on Raw and SmackDown, for the last 6-7 years, for the majority of that time, we have not been getting that. So I'm not sure who really cares about the Thunderdome or whether they're going to continue to do the Thunderdome or not. But that was an update on the WWE Thunderdome from Mike Johnson of PW Insider. According to a report from Super Luchas, listen to this. According to a report from Super Luchas, Savio Vega, yes, Savio Vega will be making an appearance at Survivor Series in some capacity. Now, Savio Vega is, of course, a classic WWE superstar, a Caribbean WWE superstar that was very popular during the 1990s. The report read, and I quote, "The Puerto Rican mayor," I did not know he was a mayor, that's actually news to me. "The Puerto Rican mayor who participated in WWE as Quang and Savio Vega is set to return to WWE to be present for the retirement of his great friend, The Undertaker. Taker will end a great run exactly 30 years after his first WWE appearance at Survivor Series 1990. End quote. So that is currently what's going on. Although I do not believe that this is going to be the final appearance from The Undertaker, I have a feeling that something's going to go down and we're ultimately going to get a WrestleMania appearance and the WrestleMania match with Mark Calloway. I don't know who it's against. Quite frankly, I don't care who. Quite frankly, I just want The Undertaker to retire so he can relax and enjoy the latter years of his life. Because quite frankly, I don't think anyone wants to see The Undertaker in a ring or even making an appearance in any way, shape, or form unless he's going to get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. So ultimately, it really doesn't mean much in the long run. But I thought that was interesting. I thought that I'd report on that. I'm not sure what they're going to do. They might do a backstage segment with Savio Vega. They could have Savio Vega out on the stage and The Undertaker in the ring giving a speech. I'm not sure if they're going to close out Survivor Series with The Undertaker. I'm not sure if anyone's going to attack The Undertaker. I don't know what's going on, but Savio Vega is reportedly set to be at Survivor Series this year to make an appearance and be present for the retirement of The Undertaker. Quote-unquote retirement of The Undertaker. According to Sky Bet, so listen to this. This is news on the rumored matches that could potentially main event WrestleMania 37. WrestleMania 37 is, of course, taking place in March and possibly April. I actually do have some news on that after we talk about the betting odds for the WrestleMania main event. According to Sky Bet, Roman Reigns versus Big E is the current favorite to main event WrestleMania 37 at 3-1 odds. They are followed by Sasha Banks versus Bayley at 9-2 odds, Randy Orton versus Edge at 5-1 odds, and Roman Reigns versus The Rock at 6-1 odds. Now, I expected all of these matches to be in the conversation for the main event except for Sasha Banks and Bayley. I'm not sure why Sasha Banks and Bayley would even continue. Bayley just lost her rematch for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. The only way that we could possibly get Sasha and Bayley at WrestleMania, and Sasha could potentially retain the SmackDown Women's title at WrestleMania, is if Bayley comes back and wins the Royal Rumble, which I don't see happening. Matter of fact, Bianca Belair should be the one to win the Women's Royal Rumble. Bianca Belair right now is your next big star. Bianca Belair is the next big thing. You capitalize on the next big thing when you have the opportunity. Bianca Belair is your next top-tier women's athlete. So that is the woman that needs to go into next year and win the Women's Royal Rumble and beat Sasha at WrestleMania. That's going to be a moment. And even if Sasha loses, that's still going to be a WrestleMania moment because Sasha's going to have an absolute fucking classic with Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. Plain and simple. Now, as far as Big E goes, I am not sure. I am really not sure if WWE is going to make us care about Big E, because they haven't been using Big E. Big E has not been used since the draft, other than in backstage segments with the fucking Street Profits to hype up the New Day versus the Street Profits match at WWE Survivor Series 2020 of this year. So I'm not sure whether or not WWE is going to make us care enough about Big E should he win the Royal Rumble next year. That's why a lot of people have been predicting Daniel Bryan, which I wouldn't mind. Some people have been calling Keith Lee, but Keith Lee right now, I think he's a dark horse. You could do Keith Lee versus Roman Reigns. I wouldn't mind that, but right now, that seems like a dark horse. So I don't know what's going to go down. I don't know what's going to go down. I'm not sure what is going to happen, but those are the current betting odds for the main event of WrestleMania 37. And yes, I saw some questions on Twitter, Danielle. We are going to talk about that. And whoever's in here right now, who's ever watching that came from Twitter, thank you very much. We are at 14 likes. 14 likes. Very, 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 very good progression here. I want to see if we can get to 20 likes before we hit an hour into the stream. We got about 40 minutes, so please share the stream out. Keep it coming. If you got any other YouTube accounts, please, 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 please be sure to hit the like button. Thank you very much. Speaking of WrestleMania, I got a report from WrestleVotes. WrestleVotes tweeted out on Thursday that WrestleMania 37 could be moved. WrestleMania 37 could be moved. So listen to this. The tweet read, and I quote, "There has been internal discussions about moving the scheduled date of WrestleMania from 3-28 to 4-11 or even 4-18. The goal remains to have fans in attendance for the event. The thought process of moving back the show a few weeks only helps that out." End quote. Now, there's obviously a lot of different factors that need to be taken into consideration before we can talk about actually having fans at WrestleMania. Even though Florida has lifted the restrictions and we are allowed to have more people at the events, there's a lot of different factors you need to take into consideration, considering what's going on with the presidential election and how the election is going to be stemming over the course of the next few months with recounts and audits and canvasses. We have Trump actually filing lawsuits in multiple different areas. And if those lawsuits get overturned, then Biden could win the election. I don't think he will, but I would like to point out that should Biden win the election, then we could be looking at a country shutdown. So we could not have fans in attendance at all. We could not have a WrestleMania at all. So I don't know what's going to go down there. If Trump wins the election, then it could go forward. I'm not sure what moving the date back is going to do, but it's a possibility. It's a possibility. There's a lot of different factors that you got to take into consideration, but I don't know what's going to happen. And at this rate, I'm going to say the same thing about the Thunderdome. At this rate, I don't really care if there's fans in attendance or not. I just care about whether you're putting out good storylines, whether you're making the talent the most important thing, whether you're making your championships important. I just care about good storylines, good angles, good feuds, and good wrestling. So at the end of the day, I don't care whether WrestleMania is before my birthday, after my birthday, whether it's before Easter or after Easter, whether they move it back, whether they bring it forward early. I don't care. I don't care. I just care about getting a good WrestleMania. We're going to stick on the topic for WrestleMania for this next report as well, because I got a report from Sean Ross Sapp. How you doing, Sean? I know that Sean Ross Sapp is watching. I know Sean Ross Sapp, that pussy, has me blocked on Twitter. Sean Ross Sapp, he provided an update on why Byron Saxton kept saying that Nia Jax versus Asuka was a WrestleMania-worthy main event. So he stated, and I quote, "In case you were wondering, the Byron Saxton line about Asuka versus Nia Jax being WrestleMania main event worthy was scripted and instructed to him completely. There was no ad-libbing on his part for that line, excuse me, I can't read. There was no ad-libbing on his part for that line and was totally directive from WWE, end quote. Now, this has created some speculation that Nia Jax versus Asuka could potentially be the Raw Women's Championship match for WrestleMania, which I hope to fucking God is not. If anything, Asuka is going into WrestleMania and she's either going to face Shayna Baszler or Charlotte Flair. And if I'm a betting man, I'm probably going to go with Charlotte Flair. I'd be surprised if Charlotte Flair doesn't come back before the end of the year and faces Asuka on the last fucking Raw of the year and wins the Raw Women's Championship. Jesus. But WWE shilling the audience on Asuka versus Nia Jax being WrestleMania worthy. Nia Jax is barely even main event worthy. So don't even get me started on that. I hope to God not, Cool King. All right. Based on the thumbnail and based on the title, you've been wanting to hear my thoughts on this. WWE tweeted out less than 2 hours before SmackDown that Zelina Vega was officially released from the company. So, we're going to dissect everything leading up to this. And I want to start by taking a trip down memory lane to when Zelina Vega was in NXT. This did not just have to do with Twitch. I know for a fact that Zelina Vega did not delete her Twitch. She created an OnlyFans account. But this stems all the way back to NXT when Zelina Vega was partnered with Andrade and when they were a must-see act. And they were one of the best things about WWE programming overall in 2017 going into 2018. Zelina Vega and Andrade were two of the hottest individuals in the WWE at one point. Zelina Vega was actually in a better position as a valet for Andrade than a lot of wrestlers were on the main roster in 2017 going into 2018. That was the area that Zelina Vega excelled at the most. Then they get called up to the main roster, and WWE, they don't even tap into 10%. Yes, she did. They don't even tap into 10% of what Zelina Vega and Andrade were in NXT. And then what happened? Then after 2 years, then they broke up Zelina Vega from Andrade. Andrade went into a feud with Angel Garza. Angel Garza's doing his own thing. Andrade, I don't know what's going to happen with Andrade. He's currently out getting a minor surgery. Zelina Vega was then put in a wrestling ring. Zelina Vega was then given 2 Raw Women's title matches against Asuka. And then she was taken off of television. She got drafted to SmackDown. She had 1 match on SmackDown, and then she was taken off of television again. So, the issue here is the fact that everyone, and including Zelina Vega, everyone pretty much concluded that Zelina Vega's area in which she was going to excel at the most, which was as a valet for Andrade. It was not as a professional wrestler because she is just not a good professional wrestler. She's green, she's generic, and she is very, very slow in the ring. So I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure what's going on there. But she may have been good in the past. She may have been good during TNA. She may have been good during her days in Impact. But that all changed. She lost a step. She lost her footing. And she was just not a good professional wrestler. And Zelina Vega, more likely than not, knew that. I respect Zelina Vega as an individual. I actually like Zelina Vega as an individual. She looks like a genuinely nice person. I respect her as a valet. I love her as a valet. She was a great manager. But at the end of the day, that was the area in which she was going to excel at, and WWE didn't tap into the full potential of Zelina Vega and Andrade when they got called up to the main roster. Instead, they split them up. Zelina Vega became a wrestler, and obviously that was not the area in which she was going to excel at, and she pretty much concluded that, you know what? I am not going to succeed as a professional wrestler because WWE is more likely than not going to have me in the back. They're going to keep me in catering. They'll probably use me 1 or 2 times. They'll wait for my contract to come up. And then more likely than not, I'm going to end up being released. I'm going to end up leaving the company. So you know what? This Twitch rule is bullshit. I might as well just say fuck it. And I might as well go forth to Vince McMahon. And I may as well skip all of the headaches. I may as well skip the waiting and see what happens. Maybe I'll get fired. But I don't care. She legitimately just didn't care. So obviously she went to Vince McMahon about the Twitch ban, this bullshit new Twitch ban that WWE enacted, and she stood up for herself, and Vince McMahon made an example out of her by firing her. Now, this only further proves my point, what I stated on Twitter a few weeks ago when this Twitch ban was really implemented. And when Paige went on her Twitch stream and she ranted, I stated how I felt for Paige. I stated how I felt for Paige, and I felt for AJ Styles, and I felt for Mia Yim, I felt for Cesaro, I felt for all of these individuals who had to give up their Twitch streams because it was an escape from reality. I felt for these individuals. I genuinely feel sorry because this right here, the thing that I use right here with the brand and YouTube, these videos, these live streams, this is an escape from reality for me. This is escape from the hardships that I have to deal with of growing up. This is an escape from reality that I use to be happy. So I understand where they're coming from, but at the end of the day, one person is not going to make a difference. And you can bitch, you can moan, you can complain, you can whine, you can cry, all you want. It's not going to do anything. There needs to be a roster-wide riot. There needs to be a roster-wide strike. There needs to be a roster-wide revolt of at least 10, 20, 25 people. Because if there's not, then no change will be implemented. You need to band together. And a lot of people in the community, dozens of podcasters, content creators, YouTubers, or just wrestling fans, everyone has been saying that the company, the people in the company that are unhappy and disgruntled need to band together, storm Vince McMahon's office, and demand change. We will not work. We will not serve you unless change is implemented. We want better working conditions. We do not want our lives to be controlled. We want change or else we will not work. What is Vince McMahon going to do? Fire everyone? They need to realize that Vince McMahon needs them. Vince McMahon needs them more than they need him. Because without wrestling talent, Vince McMahon can't put on a wrestling show, therefore he can't run a wrestling company. What is he going to do on Monday Night Raw? Stand out there himself for 3 hours and talk? What's he going to do? Ring up Goldberg and Ric Flair and have them cut a promo on each other for 2 hours on SmackDown? If that's the case, the ratings are going to tank below 1 million. At the end of the day, Vince McMahon needs them more than they need him. And I know that there's people watching me. I know that there's people from the WWE watching this stream. I may be a nobody from New Jersey with a thick-ass sideburn chin strap combo, but people are watching me, and I know that people hear everything that I'm saying. People listen. People aren't just watching me, they're watching everyone in the community. Everyone is being monitored. Everyone is being watched. The company is aware of people like me. They can't fire everyone. 20, 25 people, you will make a difference. You can band together and you will win. Vince needs you. You don't need him. One person like Zelina Vega ain't going to make a difference. Zelina Vega did the right thing. Matter of fact, Zelina Vega provided you. Zelina Vega provided everyone who is unhappy and disgruntled in that locker room an example. Zelina Vega should be the person that wakes everyone up. But I'm sure that this is just going to go right over everyone's head, and everyone's just going to sit there in catering, and they're going to sit in their chairs, and they're going to twiddle their thumbs and act like everything's okay when it's not. Zelina Vega showed everyone what you should do if you are unhappy, if you are upset, if you are mad. Stand up for yourself. But I'm sure everything is just going to go right over everyone's head. And no one's going to stand up. I have the utmost respect for Zelina Vega. I stand by Zelina Vega. I fully support Zelina Vega in everything that she did. I fully support her. How you doing, Earl? I wish Zelina Vega luck in the post-WWE years of her career. But at the end of the day, like I said, if you do not band together, if we don't receive more of these, I'm not talking about 1 or 2 people, I'm talking about 15, 20, 25. If we don't have a roster-wide strike, a roster-wide revolt, no real change will be implemented. None. The only way that change is going to be implemented is if Joe Biden comes out of all of this political bullshit as the winner of the election, and Andrew Yang follows through with his promise to go after Vince McMahon and finally put an end to whatever Vince McMahon's doing inside his company. We'll see what happens. So those are your news, rumors, and reports. Those are your news, rumors, and reports. Before we get into the weekly show reviews, we're going to check the chat. We are at 16 likes. Excellent, excellent, excellent stuff, ladies and gentlemen. We are at 16 likes. I am absolutely loving the support here on the Lightning Flash update. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. So before we check the weekly show reviews, let's check what the people are saying in the chat. David Maniscalco is here. How are you? Danielle loves the truth bombs that I am throwing down. Cameron Johnson says that they need people like AJ and the New Day to step up. Very, very true. Very, very true. Earl Cole's in the chat. How are you? Earl Cole is in full support of Zelina Vega. Awesome, awesome stuff there. Adam, my friend Adam from Egypt. At this point, everyone from WWE should walk out and tell Vince, we will not work for WWE until you step down from your position as chairman and CEO of WWE. Adam spins some truth bombs right there, but unfortunately, there are some people that are brainwashed WWE shills and will not walk out because they are loyal to Vince McMahon, and they're just like Bruce Pritchard that will tickle Vince McMahon's nuts whenever he says so. So. We are going to get into the weekly show reviews. We got a lot of material to dissect as far as the weekly show reviews go. So, we're going to start off with Monday Night Raw, even though I don't fucking want to. I don't understand why anyone would want to start off with fucking Monday Night Raw. I don't understand why anyone would want to talk about Monday Night Raw. We'll talk about the Dynamite episode in a little bit. So, Monday Night Raw, we had The Miz kicking off the show with Miz TV with John Morrison. Miz said that there's big things happening this week. They hyped up Miz and Mrs. as if anyone's going to fucking watch that. Randy Orton comes out, he grabs the mic. He says that you got the balls to say that a reality TV show is more important than a match Randy Orton is in. So he ran down Morrison for leaving the company, going to the minor leagues, Impact, when he became Johnny Impact, and he was Johnny Mundo in Lucha Underground. He turned his back and he demanded for The Miz to cash in. Miz and Morrison tried to calm Orton down. He said that tonight's about us as a unit taking out your challenger and the tag team champions because we could possibly get a shot at the tag team championship. So Miz pretty much devaluing the Money in the Bank contract. New Day came out. They said that they were going to laugh at you in person. Orton then RKO'd Kofi. Miz and Morrison took out Woods and Drew McIntyre came out. Miz and Morrison helped Orton and threw Drew McIntyre into an RKO. And that was that. The heels stood tall. Can anyone name one reason why anyone should give a shit about what we saw here? I can't. I got nothing to say. I legitimately got nothing to say. No one gives a shit about Miz and Morrison. Morrison looks like the biggest fucking idiot on the face of the planet for re-signing a new deal with this company. The Miz is a shell of his former self. Nobody gives a shit about Randy Orton because Randy Orton has been in a feud with Drew McIntyre saying the same things and doing the same things with Drew McIntyre over the course of God knows how many months now. The New Day are the tag team champions. I don't think anyone gives a shit about them at this rate. How many times has the fucking New Day been tag team champions? And Drew McIntyre, I love Drew McIntyre. He is undoubtedly a face of the company type guy. But they have absolutely killed everything that Drew McIntyre was. I'm going to check the chat after we're done with the Raw review, but after this we came up with Elias versus Jeff Hardy versus Matt Riddle. This is a second chance Survivor Series qualifying match. We had Elias speaking before the match. I didn't care enough to take down what he was saying. I mean, fucking Elias, he's a mini Braun Strowman. He comes out and does the same fucking thing every single week. Hardy interrupted him, and then Riddle came out. Matt Riddle. So the match began. Elias kept the aggression on Hardy and Riddle, sending Riddle into the barricade, clotheslining Jeff Hardy. Elias with a swinging neck breaker. Riddle with a Broton to break up the pinfall. Riddle and Hardy then went back and forth. I would actually love to see a match between Hardy and Riddle down the line. We then had Hardy being taken out by a flying knee by Elias. Riddle hit the Bro Derek, and Matt Riddle wins. Standard triple threat. Very, very standard triple threat. Nothing special whatsoever. If you wanted to skip this match, you could have absolutely skipped this match. You did not miss anything. You did not miss a single solitary thing as far as the second chance Survivor Series qualifying match. Matt Riddle qualifies. I'm glad Matt Riddle's on the Survivor Series team, but do you really think that the report that Vince McMahon was impressed with Matt Riddle is true? If Vince McMahon really cared about Matt Riddle, then Matt Riddle wouldn't have been taking loss after loss leading up to this match, number one. Matt Riddle wouldn't have gotten a name change, number two. And number three, Matt Riddle wouldn't have gotten moved to Monday Night Raw because of Seth Rollins and how much of a pussy he is because Riddle's wife said something about Becky Lynch. If anything, Matt Riddle, I guarantee you Matt Riddle was put on the Survivor Series team because he's going to be the first one eliminated. Guarantee you Matt Riddle was put on the Survivor Series team because he's going to be the first one overall eliminated. Just watch. And when it happens, I'm going to be sitting here on the rewind for Survivor Series saying that I'm an absolute fucking genius. Mustafa Ali and Retribution were in the back. Mustafa Ali was cutting a promo, or Mustafa Ali, as he likes to call himself. He admires Ricochet for standing alone and not joining the Hurt Business, but he said that no one person can change anything. He says that we are going to show no mercy unto you because you showed no mercy unto us. We are Retribution, and we will not rest until we shut you down. Listen, I love Mustafa Ali. I'm a huge advocate for Mustafa Ali. I've explained numerous amounts of times on the channel throughout the course of the last few years how big of an advocate I've been for Mustafa Ali ever since his days on 205 Live. And he's great on the microphone in this role. But how is anyone supposed to take him seriously when the group is 0-4? How is anyone supposed to take this man seriously when the group is 0-4? They've lost time and time again. The group has no credibility, and they are past the point of no return. The best route for them is for Retribution to just completely disband, go back to catering, do not show face, and then re-debut under your real names without any fucking mention that they were a faction. The Hurt Business, which was approached by Drew Gulak in the back. Drew Gulak, he was the 24/7 champion. He wanted to join the Hurt Business. He was wearing a clip-on tie. They beat him down before Truth swooped in and won back the 24/7 championship. What is that, 45 times? At this rate, R-Truth has been 24/7 champion more times than there's been presidents of the United States. Lana versus Shayna Baszler. Oh, hang on a minute. Time out. Lana versus Shayna Baszler. Listen to this. Before the match, I am not even bullshitting you. They showcased a compilation of Lana going through table after table, before this matchup. And this is like something straight out of fucking YouTube. They literally showcased a compilation of Lana going through table after table at the hands of Nia Jax, and in the corner of the screen, they put a number of how many times Lana went through the table. I swear it was something out of fucking Sesame Street. You can't make this shit up. A Sesame Street-like compilation of Lana going through a table time and time again for the last 8 weeks. WWE don't even give a shit anymore. They don't. They don't. They are not even hiding their pettiness. So, Shayna Baszler threw Lana off of her back. This was just a decimation. Shayna Baszler with a roundhouse kick, gut-wrench driver, knee strike, and a Karafuda clutch. Lana taps. Lana turned her attention to the announce table, and Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke stopped Nia from putting Lana through the announce table. Baszler tried to keep the peace. So, Lana didn't go through an announce table here, but I tweeted out, hey, we still got 2 hours left in the show. Just wait. So, then we had AJ Styles coming out for a Team Raw meeting, and he introduced all the members of Team Raw. Sheamus and Lee got into a back and forth. Strowman told Styles that he ain't the captain. Sheamus went back and forth with Strowman. I didn't bother taking down any specifics. Riddle then gave them all code names. Now this was actually fairly funny, because when Riddle is genuine, he's actually very funny. He called Styles Skipper. He called Sheamus Mongoose. He called... Strowman was Mongoose. Styles was Skipper. Keith Lee was Broly, and then Sheamus was Fireface, and he says that whenever you get mad, your face turns beet red, which I laughed at. And then Sheamus called Matt Riddle Dopey, and Matt Riddle's like, how'd you know, bro? So that was actually fairly funny. Styles said that they don't want us to work together, meaning Team SmackDown doesn't want us to work together. He says that he's going to ref a tag team match between these 4 men, and it'll give us all respect for each other. I don't understand why WWE is trying so hard to hype up Survivor Series as if it means anything when there's nothing on the line. Oh, don't even get me started, Earl. Listen to this. Listen to this. So the match begins. Styles is the referee. Matt Riddle accidentally knees Styles in the face. So Styles gets taken down by a knee. Sheamus tries to cover Riddle, but Styles is down. Sheamus was talking to Styles, and then Sheamus dodges a kick from Matt Riddle, and a roundhouse kick hits AJ Styles. Styles is taken down again, and then Sheamus and Matt Riddle, they're taken out of the equation as Strowman and Lee come into the ring, and they run off the ropes, and they collide with each other, and Styles is sandwiched in between the 2 big men. I swear to God, there is no difference between watching this and watching the clown act at your local circus. This was fucking embarrassing. This is absolutely fucking embarrassing. You got AJ Styles as the clown that always gets his ass beat. You got Sheamus and Keith Lee as the big clowns. And you got Matt Riddle and Sheamus as the lead clowns. I swear to God, it is a fucking circus. So, coming back from commercial, we got a hot tag to Keith Lee. He was tossing around Sheamus and Braun Strowman. He powerbombed Riddle onto Sheamus. Riddle then came in off the tag with a German suplex to Sheamus for a 2. Strowman then tagged himself in, Sheamus then tagged himself back in. He kicked Strowman, and then Riddle pinned Sheamus for the win. This was an absolute disorganized, comedic fucking mess that did not need to happen. So Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss were then in the back, Nikki Cross made Alexa Bliss choose between her or him. Him meaning The Fiend, and Alexa Bliss says, I choose him. So instead of actually doing a program with Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, Killian Dane, and The Fiend, you had Orton and The Fiend go into a program, and Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, they're just afterthoughts. I choose him. Next week, we got the New Day versus the Hurt Business for the Raw Tag Team Championships. I don't know what's going to go down next week, but are they potentially changing up Survivor Series? I'm not sure what's going on, but we have a lot of babyface versus babyface and heel versus heel. I don't mind seeing babyface versus babyface, but it's very hard to have heel versus heel work. I wouldn't mind the Hurt Business as the tag team champions. I thought that they were going to save this until TLC, but apparently they're not. Apparently they are just going to put it on Monday Night Raw next week. Now, I'm not sure if this has anything to do with the fact that Cedric Alexander was actually backstage at Full Gear with his wife, Big Swole. Now, could that have an effect on this match? Does that mean that the Hurt Business are going to lose? Did Cedric Alexander kill the Hurt Business's push? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. Are they really going to build up John Morrison and The Miz to face the New Day? I hope to fucking God not. So, we had MVP and Bobby Lashley coming out. MVP welcomed everyone to the Survivor Series preview. He says that it'll be Hurt Business versus the Street Profits, and he says the almighty Bobby Lashley will beat Sami Zayn. Lashley questions whether he will allow Sami Zayn to walk out of Survivor Series at all. Titus O'Neil then comes out and says that he proposed an offer because he's a businessman, but instead he got his ass beat and he got disrespected. MVP said he's giving him an opportunity to walk away. Titus said no. He said, what sense is having that title if you don't defend it? Lashley said, you want a title shot, you got it, but it'll be your first and your last. So the ref comes out, we get a U.S. title match, we get a spear within 30 seconds, and then a hurt lock, and Titus O'Neil taps out. Less than 60 seconds, and Titus O'Neil is beaten by Bobby Lashley. I swear to God, the United States Championship is a complete fucking afterthought. The United States Championship has not felt prestigious ever since AJ Styles had it. And the only reason why it felt prestigious with AJ Styles is because AJ Styles is AJ Styles. Why is it that we needed to get a 30-day reign as U.S. champion from Rey Mysterio, and then we got Andrade winning the title. He held it for 5 months, only to do nothing with it. Partially it was his fault because he violated a wellness policy, but then partially it wasn't his fault because he got injured and WWE didn't put any effort into him. And then Apollo Crews held the title. Now Bobby Lashley has held the title, and he has had nothing but title defenses that have lasted 5 fucking minutes. Yeah, some United States champion you got going on there. We had Asuka versus Nia Jax. We had Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, and Lana all watching. So, what did you think was going to happen? Lana was out there, and I said, just wait, we still got 2 more hours left in the show. What happened? I barely even took down what happened in this match. We had Lana trying to intervene. Baszler put her in the Karafuda clutch. Asuka then knocked her off the apron, sending her into Dana Brooke and Mandy. Asuka then locked in the Asuka lock before Shayna caused the DQ. I said Dana. We got a big brawl. Asuka and Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke were all tossed out of the ring by Baszler and Jax. I do believe that Mandy Rose was actually injured by Nia Jax. Typical fucking Nia Jax, injuring people again. They targeted Lana. Lana was then put through the announce table for an 8th time. 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I hope you realize that by WrestleMania, there's going to be a 25-minute video compilation on YouTube by WrestleMania of Lana going through table after table. You may as well just book Lana versus Nia Jax in a fucking announce table match at WrestleMania 37. And then my favorite part. We had Nia Jax taking the microphone, and she said, "You don't belong. You're going to wear us down. Just quit." That was Vince McMahon speaking to Lana vicariously through Nia Jax. Thank you very much for watching my B-Tunes Peanuts Or. Thank you very much. Please, 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 please stop by anytime. So, Angel Garza was then in the back cutting another Bachelor-like promo. So, I don't know where this is leading. I don't know why Angel Garza is doing this. I mean, a fucking year ago, he was fighting Lio Rush for the Cruiserweight Championship, and he was putting on classics in NXT, and here he is cutting a promo into the camera as if he's proposing to someone. And he's already fucking married. R-Truth versus Eric versus Drew Gulak versus Tucker versus Akira Tozawa versus Lince Dorado versus Gran Metalik. This was a 7-way match for the 24/7 title. This was a 7-way match for the 24/7 title. I swear to God, after seeing this, I'm telling you right now, I am so fucking tempted. I have never been so fucking tempted to just completely cut out the Raw review. I am this close to just cutting out the Raw review. I swear to God, it would save me 30 to 40 minutes. I would be out of here by 3:20 as opposed to 4 o'clock every single Saturday. This was absolutely embarrassing. This was inexcusable in every way, shape, or form. Everyone that was involved in this, their careers were officially fucking destroyed. Destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. And I have absolutely no respect for anyone that supports this. And if you support this, you are an absolute fucking cancer to the community. Tozawa won the title within seconds. Eric then rolled up Tozawa to win the title. Drew Gulak won the title back. Tucker then rolled up Gulak to win it. Gulak rolled him back up. Tucker rolled him back again. Metalik with an elbow from the top to win. And then Lince Dorado rolled up Metalik to win the title. And then R-Truth with an AA to Dorado. And R-Truth wins the title back. And then R-Truth runs away. This close. I'm telling you right now. There was when I saw this, fucking veins were popping out of my head. I was absolutely fucking disgusted by this. Ricochet. I already did, Earl. Too late. I'm DJ Storms. I respect nobody. Ricochet versus Mustafa Ali. We're almost coming to the end of the Raw review, and then I'm going to check the chat. Ricochet versus Mustafa Ali. This was undoubtedly the best part about the night. If there was one thing that I would encourage everyone to go back and rewatch, it would be this. This was a fucking great match. And I am actually shocked. I'm legitimately shocked that they actually gave them the proper amount of time. I'm legitimately shocked that they actually gave them the proper amount of time to go out there and put on a great match. This match went almost 15 minutes, and these two absolutely tore the house down. So, I don't care. The majority of the WWE Universe are fucking idiots. So, Ali, he tried to cut Ricochet down. Ricochet with a back body drop. Ricochet then with a beautiful head scissor takedown, sending Mustafa Ali off of the apron. Ali landed hard. Coming back from commercial, Ali with a neck breaker for a 2. Ricochet then mounted a comeback. Ricochet with a Northern Lights suplex. He floated over into a spinning brain buster for a 2. Very close 2 count there. So, we then had Ali with a backstabber. Now, Ali and Ricochet were both on the top rope, and Ali with a backstabber off the middle rope, and I swear to God, Ricochet bounced off of Mustafa Ali's knees like he was on a fucking trampoline. It looked brutal. Ricochet sells the shit out of every single move that he takes. That got a 2 count. Mustafa Ali was trying to tell Ricochet he's trying to help him. Ricochet fought back with a slap and a reverse Rana. Ricochet then with a twisting plancha. A twisting plancha. He did an escalera into a twisting plancha, taking out Retribution on the outside. He took out T-Balls. He took out Disgrace. He took out Applejack. He did not take out Recoiling. He did not take out Recoiling. But he took out the men members of Retribution. He went back up to the top rope and he looked to connect with a beautiful Phoenix Splash, but he missed. Mustafa Ali then locked in a Koji clutch and Ricochet passed out. He did not get pinned. He did not tap out. He passed out. And let me tell you something. I will say that Ricochet looked great in defeat. Mustafa Ali looked great, and Mustafa Ali gets the victory. This match was excellent. Now, does it mean anything? No. No, it doesn't mean anything. Why? Because Ricochet's been buried all year, and the small amount of credibility that Retribution had, that died when T-Balls tapped out to Bobby Lashley in 5 seconds. So at the end of the day, this doesn't mean anything, but it was still a great match, I will say. Randy Orton, before the 6-man tag match, he was informed by Adam Pearce that we got Drew McIntyre challenging him for the WWE title next week. And I asked the question, why? Drew McIntyre's done nothing to earn a WWE title match. Does this mean that WWE realized that they fucked up at Survivor Series and they're trying to correct their mistake? Does Drew McIntyre win the WWE Championship? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But we get the 6-man tag match. We get Randy Orton, Miz, and Morrison versus Drew McIntyre and The New Day. I took little to nothing down on this match. Drew McIntyre then delivered a Future Shock DDT to Morrison. He begged Orton to tag in, but Orton walked away. Miz took out Woods. Kofi then took out Miz. We had a plancha by Morrison taking out Kofi. Spinebuster to the Miz. We had a Glasgow kiss by Drew McIntyre to Morrison, and then a Claymore, and that's it. And Drew McIntyre and The New Day win, and that was Monday Night Raw for you. Tell me about it, Hannah. That was Monday Night Raw for you. Absolutely fucking terrible. A complete waste of time. I don't know what else I can say. Before we get into AEW Dark, we're going to check the chat. We are going to check the chat. David Maniscalco's back. Hannah says, Randy and Drew is getting old. We need new matches. Mustafa Ali versus Ricochet was a great match. Left a like and shared for you. Thank you, Hannah. Mickey James was injured, says Cameron Johnson. I believe she is. I believe she broke her nose, if I'm not mistaken. Danielle, why are you being so quiet, my little monster? Why are you being so quiet? The posse members are instructed to be loud and proud. The posse members are instructed to be very, very vocal because we don't give a shit what anyone thinks. So don't be quiet now. Don't try and be shy now. All right? I see you, Danielle. So we are going to get into AEW Dark, which was, for the most part, very, very standard. Very, very standard. Really nothing crazy whatsoever. But we did get a few entertaining moments on AEW Dark. So we had about 9 matches, I believe, on AEW Dark. They still need to cut it down to at least 6 matches. No reason for 9 matches. So we had TNT versus Chaos Project. Chaos Project's fucking terrible. We had Terrell looking good for a minute. He had a nice back body drop on Serpentico and a big chokeslam for a 2. Chaos Project ended up winning with the Spinebuster Meteora combo. I don't give a shit about Chaos Project. Luther's fucking terrible. Serpentico's great. I love Serpentico, but Luther's fucking terrible. This was my favorite part of Dark. Listen to this. This was my favorite part of Dark. We had The Acclaimed versus Louis Valley and Justin Blacks. So Max Caster, he raps. He took the microphone, and he's like modern day John Cena. He's like PG John Cena. Dr. of Thugonomics, John Cena. So The Acclaimed came out. Max Caster took the microphone, and he said, he rapped about 4 lines. He said, The Acclaimed just put pen to paper, but this dude needs an escalator. Just to get into my face, I sun these haters. I spank you like you on some bad behavior. And this dude, he's too generic to even diss. Matter of fact, you looking too ugly to even kiss. My name is Max. This is Anthony. We are The Acclaimed. Everything you plan to be. Now, I was laughing my fucking ass off when I heard this. Max Caster is absolutely fucking phenomenal. And Anthony Bowens, he's a bit too green in the ring. Like, they're good in the ring, but even if they sucked in the ring, Max Caster absolutely stole the entire show. This was absolutely fucking hilarious. So, if Max Caster ever goes on a singles run, I think Max Caster could be a very, very, very entertaining individual. This was absolutely fucking hilarious. So, we got that, and then we got the match. And they actually looked very, very good here. So, they isolated Blacks. We had some double team maneuvers. The Acclaimed actually gelled very, very nicely in the ring. Valley came in, but he caught the wheelbarrow cutter for the win. The Acclaimed stand tall, and that was that. We had Top Flight versus Baron Black and Frankie Thomas. Top Flight with some swift double team action, snap suplex, senton atomicos. Dante was then isolated before Darius got the tag. Beautiful Spanish fly on Frankie for a 2. We had a springboard back elbow by Dante and a running drop kick to Frankie's face when his head was trapped in the buckle. And this was a very nice showcase for Top Flight, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what Top Flight does against the Young Bucks next week on Dynamite. We had the Hybrid 2. The Hybrid 2 versus Adam Pearce and Shawn Dean. The Hybrid 2 win here. Dean tapped out to an inverted figure 4 leg lock. That was pretty much that. The Hybrid 2 get the win. We had the Lucha Bros versus Ashton Starr and David Ali. Standard showcase for the Lucha Bros with an assisted spike pile driver for the 1, 2, 3. Danny Jordan versus Leva Bates. Leva Bates, let me tell you, she's got a long way to go. She does not look good in the ring. She is very, very, very fucking soft in the ring. Her offense is not good at all. Leva Bates ended up winning here with a roll-up. Leva Bates watched as Danny Jordan destroyed her books. This was a waste of fucking time. A complete waste of time. I don't mind Danny Jordan, but Leva Bates, man, you've really got to do something with Leva Bates. She needs to go to the fucking Nightmare Factory and train. We had Allen 5 Angels versus Fuego del Sol. What's going on? Danielle is just with some dots. Come on, Danielle. Be loud and proud. That's what the DJ Storms posse is all about. All right? All right? Come on. All right. See what happens. See what happens. So, we then had Allen 5 Angels versus Fuego del Sol. This was a fairly decent match right here. Nothing too crazy, but it was a fairly decent match. We had a couple of decent matches, but again, ultimately very skippable AEW Dark. We got a frog splash from Angels off the apron. Double foot stomp on Fuego del Sol for a 2. Too much controversy. Damn right, Earl Cole. Too much controversy. So, we had a clothesline turning Fuego del Sol inside out, and then we got the wing snapper for the win. Allen 5 Angels gets the win. Allen 5 Angels is very good, but he's really not going anywhere. We then had Dream Girl Ellie and Genocide versus Ivelisse and Diamante. Diamante with a tope suicida. Ivelisse then with a modified sharpshooter for the tap-out win. That was pretty much that. And then in the main event, we had Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela versus Jurassic Express. Sonny Kiss is fucking terrible, but thankfully he wasn't showcased too much in this match. Jungle Boy and Janela went back and forth. That's actually a match I would love to see. Jungle Boy and Janela. So, we had a tope by Janela, a clothesline by Janela, turning him inside out. Luchasaurus then came in. We had Sonny with a moonsault to Luchasaurus. Canadian Destroyer to Janela on the floor. We had a chokeslam to Sonny Kiss, super kick to Janela, and then Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus with a back suplex powerbomb combo. And Jurassic Express wins. Earl Cole, Sonny Kiss is fucking terrible. He's a terrible pro wrestler. He has weak offense and his character sucks. So this was probably the best match of the night. Thankfully, we didn't get too much showcase of Sonny Kiss. Thank God. Jurassic Express gets the win, and I do believe Jurassic Express will be built up to be the next AEW World Tag Team Champions. So, that was AEW Dark. Then we got AEW Dynamite, which was a great show, minus one segment. Dynamite was a great show. We will talk about everything. We're going to dissect everything AEW Dynamite related, and then we were going to go into NXT. So we got Brian Cage versus Matt Sydal, and this was the first match of the night here on AEW Dynamite. But first things first, we had Team Taz coming out. And Team Taz pointed out that Darby Allin was in the crowd. He said, keep your narrow ass in that chair. If you get in this ring, you're going to get put out, just like Cody would get put out. Taz then put over both Sydal and Cage before the match. Sydal then came out, and we get the match, and this was actually a very good match for only 8 minutes. Very, very, very good match for only 8 minutes. Cage used his power against Sydal. He wore him down with a nice backbreaker. Sydal then came back with a series of kicks. He flipped out of a German suplex. Cage actually left his feet. He was going for a Hurricane Rana. He left his feet, but Sydal caught him in a power bomb, which looked great. Sydal then with a meteor out on the ramp. Sydal then with a spinning senton press for a 2. Sydal with the kicks to the chest. Back and forth counters they go before Cage absolutely leveled him with a lariat. We then had Sydal reversing the drill claw into a Hurricane Rana powerbomb combination, roll up for a damn close 2 count. Cage then caught Sydal. Sydal jumped off the top rope, went for a blockbuster. Cage caught him in midair and hit a drill claw. Caught him in midair into the drill claw, which looked great. And Cage wins a very good match here against Sydal for only 8 minutes. Loved what they did here. Starks then came out. He says that they are officially ranked, and they got things down. The next step is the TNT title. FTW presence will be felt because the Revolution will be televised. So that was that. Very, very, very good open to Dynamite. Cody Rhodes then came out. He congratulated Darby Allin. He says that he will not be seeking a rematch at this time, but there is one loss that he would love to expunge from his record. He says that he is seeking a rematch against MJF. All of a sudden, some woman then came up from behind him. She took the mic. She said her name is Jade Cargill. She says that she's the total package. She says that, Cody, you are the giant killer? Don't look like there's anything giant about you. Wink, wink. She says that she knows a giant. Slick statements like yours, that's an echo to wake them up. So next time you want to think out loud, keep your shit to yourself. Watch your back. Says that there's a giant who is a real star, and his name is Shaq. Jade Cargill, I don't know what they were going for here, but Jade Cargill, I'm telling you right now, this was a terrible fucking promo. She did not sound natural whatsoever. She legitimately sounded like she was reading off of a teleprompter. And it did not sound good at all. I am not sure what they were going for here, but this was an absolute waste of fucking time. This was an absolute waste of fucking time. I don't know why they were bringing her in. I'm not sure if she's going to be a valet or a wrestler. And as far as Shaq goes, I do not want to fucking see that. And I don't think anyone should want to fucking see that. It is a waste of time if we see anything related to Shaq. We do not need that on AEW Dynamite. And I don't want to hear anyone complaining and start getting on my back. Oh, but you were okay with the Mike Tyson incident with Chris Jericho back in May. Two different scenarios, fuckers. Two different scenarios, fuckers. Listen and pay attention. Professor Storms is teaching now. Class is in session. Mike Tyson was brought in for a 3-minute segment. Mike Tyson was brought in for a 3-minute segment with Chris Jericho. The bastard said all but 3 sentences in that little promo with Chris Jericho, and Chris Jericho was doing most of the talking. All he did was flex, and then we got a comedic pull-apart brawl with Chris Jericho just screaming, Tyson! 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 And that was it. That was it. Tyson was brought in for a little segment with Chris Jericho, and obviously it's Chris Jericho, so Chris Jericho obviously made it work. But he was not seen since then. Mike Tyson has not been mentioned or seen since then. I don't mind if you want to bring a celebrity in for a 3 to 5 minute segment and have them just go back and forth with a little comedic promo with whoever. But you need to put it with the right person. Obviously, they put him with Jericho for 3 minutes, and Jericho brought out some comic relief for that night. And it was a one-time thing. I don't mind the 3 to 5 minute segment, a one-time thing, and that's it. If Tyson would have been showcased on Dynamite for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, leading up to a match, taking a spot away from a full-time wrestler, then I would have said something. But Mike Tyson has not been seen or heard from since then. Jericho hasn't even mentioned him. They're leaving it alone. They did right by the Mike Tyson segment. But if you bring in Shaq, and you're going to bring him in, and you're going to have him on Dynamite for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, and you're going to have him take up a spot away from a full-time talent to get a match with Cody Rhodes, you really think that Shaq and Cody are going to deliver a compelling match? No. Shaq is not a pro wrestler. Neither was Pat McAfee, but Pat McAfee was at least training to become a pro wrestler. If Shaq is a part of a program taking up a spot away from a full-time wrestler on Dynamite, that is just so counterproductive and unnecessary that it's going to end up bringing the quality of Dynamite down. And then afterwards, Brandy Rhodes then came out, and she absolutely ripped this bitch a new asshole. Brandy Rhodes then came out, and she says, who the hell you think you are? Who told you that it was an open mic night? Don't you talk to him. Don't you even look at him. Take your ratchet bitch ass out of here, heifer. So I thought that was fucking awesome. And then afterwards, Cargill just lightly tapped Brandy on her ass. And obviously Jerry Lynn came up and they were trying to separate them so there wasn't a fight. Afterwards, we had Cage coming back. He attacked Cody. Starks then came out. Darby made his way out to the ring, and he was wearing a jacket. He was wearing a jacket with thumbtacks on it. And he attacked Team Taz and helped Cody fight off Team Taz. Will Hobbs actually came out as well. I'm not sure what they're doing with Will Hobbs, but Will Hobbs is just there for now. I'm not sure if he's going to join Team Taz or not. He could. So that's one storyline that we got to keep our eye on. Earl Cole, I'm going to talk about the bunkhouse match now. This was undoubtedly the match of the night. The bunkhouse match was fucking awesome. Absolutely fucking awesome was this bunkhouse match. So, it was the Natural Nightmares versus the Butcher and the Blade. The Natural Nightmares went right after the Butcher and the Blade. QT got a guitar, smashed over his head, which looked brutal. Dustin then used the bull rope against the Blade. QT, he was busted open, but QT's head getting busted open, it wasn't nearly as bad as what happened with the Blade, which we'll talk about in a minute. Dustin was then handcuffed to the ropes. Blade then brought in a ladder. QT got whacked with a kendo stick. Dustin used a ladder against the Butcher and the Blade. The Butcher and Dustin then brawled into the crowd area, and Dustin with a bulldog off of the stairs, sending the Butcher through wooden pallets, which looked awesome. QT was then taken on the Blade. The Blade, he was busted open like a stuck pig. His entire fucking face was blood red, covered. As red as my shirt. So, we had QT taking out the Blade, and he went up to the top of the ladder. He was at least 15 feet, 20 feet up in the air. And QT with a beautiful Shawn Michaels-like elbow drop from the top of the ladder. He covered, but the Blade kicked out. The Butcher then came back. Dustin resurfaced. Blade was still bleeding profusely. We then had a neckbreaker powerbomb on the chairs. QT was then saved by Dustin. We had a QT cutter on the Blade, a low blow, QT cutter on the Butcher, low blow by the Blade. The Bunny was then sent off of the apron through a table, and then we had the Blade getting hit with a cowbell. I have a disease, I have an illness, and we need more cowbell. So the Blade got hit with a cowbell, and then QT hit the QT cutter, and QT and Dustin get the win. This was a great fucking match. This was an absolute fucking war. I thought that the Butcher and the Blade were going to win this, but Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall get the win. Very, very happy that they get the win. I could definitely see them getting the first shot at the Young Bucks. I definitely wouldn't mind that. I think a lot of people would love to see that. So then we had MJF's induction into the Inner Circle. MJF's induction into the Inner Circle. So Jericho introduced the OGIC. Sammy wasn't there. And later we found out that MJF actually sent Sammy to the beach. So MJF was introduced. MJF said, "It took a long road to get here." His father gave him a small loan of $1 million. So that was obviously a shot at Trump, which is funny. Said he gave him a small loan of $1 million. He said the pressure created him into the diamond he is today. And he read some poetry from Drake. Ortiz says that you should not be in the Inner Circle. Jericho says he beat me and they're already stronger than the walls of Jericho, damn it. He said that they started from the bottom and now we're here, did MJF. We had balloons and confetti coming down, and then MJF then celebrated Jericho's birthday, and he says that we are all going to Vegas. We all got tickets to Vegas, and it's on me. This was fucking fantastic. This was absolutely fucking fantastic. MJF is fantastic. Enough said. MJF is an absolute fucking mastermind. This has been fantastic ever since the beginning, and I am loving where this is going. And the fact that no one knows where this is going, the fact that it has that unpredictability factor. Again, this is the first storyline in a while. This is the first storyline in a while that I can genuinely say is unpredictable, and I don't think anyone cares where it's going. We're just having fun on the ride. And I'm very, very, very much looking forward to seeing where this ends up. I think I can see Sammy and MJF facing off at Revolution. So, Young Bucks were then interviewed. Matt said next week they'll be facing Top Flight. So I can't wait to see that. Top Flight is very, very good. Top Flight has been putting out some great matches on AEW Dark. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they can do with the Young Bucks. We then had Shawn Spears versus Scorpio Sky. So this match was originally supposed to take place a few weeks ago, but Scorpio Sky caught COVID. We had Sky keeping the aggression on Spears before Spears took advantage with an avalanche back body drop off of the top. Spears then wore down Sky. Sky reversed the C4. Sky with a plancha and a slingshot cutter for a 2. Spears was then caught by Sky with a super kick. So we got a super kick by Spears and then a sidewalk slam on the steel steps, which looked brutal. Back into the ring, Sky then locked in the Scorpion Deathlock, but Spears got to the ropes. Tully then slid in a steel slug. The steel slug to Shawn Spears. He put it inside the glove. He distracted the ref, and Spears hit Scorpio Sky with the steel slug, and Scorpio Sky was defeated by Spears. This was good. Nothing overwhelming. It was solid for what it was. And Spears gets the win. He is now on a 12-match winning streak, I believe. And if anything, I do believe that Shawn Spears could be the first challenger in line for Darby Allin and the TNT Championship, which I would not mind whatsoever. We then had Tai Conchi versus Red Velvet. Red Velvet is a terrible name, but Red Velvet is actually very good in the ring. Tai Conchi is actually very good in the ring as well. As far as the match goes, it was decent. Match was decent. We did get some decent showcase for both women. They both did a very good job. We had Red Velvet with a standing moonsault. Swift back kick by Conchi for a 2. Conchi kept the pressure on Red Velvet with a Uranagi. Red Velvet then mounted a comeback with a wheelbarrow bulldog. Double knees against the ropes. A running stunner for a 2. We had a double roundhouse kicks taking out both women. Anna Jay then tried to slide Conchi a chair, but Conchi tossed it away. Red Velvet tried to take over control with a leg lariat, but Conchi kicked out. Conchi then with a punt kick and a gory special spin into the GTS for the win. Conchi gets the win here over Red Velvet in a decent match. I would say this was definitely a step in the right direction for the women's division, but the women's division still needs to be showcased a little bit more. Tai Conchi, if she gets a few more wins, I would definitely love to see Tai Conchi as an interim opponent for Hikaru Shida on Dynamite before Hikaru Shida eventually takes on Britt Baker at Revolution. I would definitely love to see Tai Conchi versus Hikaru Shida for the AEW Women's World Championship. Next week, we got Cody versus Darby, or Cody and Darby, rather, versus Team Taz. That's going to be next week. We got Kip Sabian versus Orange Cassidy next week. We got Top Flight versus the Young Bucks next week. We got the Inner Circle slaying Las Vegas next week. We also got Serena Deeb versus Thunder Rosa in a rematch for the AEW, or the NWA, Women's World Championship. Dynamite next week looks stacked. Very much looking forward to that. And then on December 2nd, we got Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship. It's going to be the biggest matchup in AEW history. Watch it. I am very much looking forward to that. I will be here to review it. I'll be here to dissect it. I'll be here to go over everything. It's going to be a great time. So outside of the Jade Cargill incident, it's been a great episode of Dynamite, and now we got Penta El Cero Miedo versus Rey Fenix. This was part number 2. This one was based specifically off of storyline. This only went about 12 minutes, but it was a fucking war for 12 minutes. So we had a swift kick being exchanged to start the match from both men. Penta was then caught with a drop kick. Penta then started to tear the mask off of Rey Fenix. So shit got aggressive really, really quickly. Penta then kept the aggression on Fenix. Fenix with a corner spin kick. Fenix with a springboard. Hurricane Rana roll up for a 2. Fenix then ripped off Penta's mask. So shit was getting really, really down and dirty here. They started headbutting each other. We had a flip spike cutter by Penta for a 2. Fenix then with a spinning tornillo on Penta to the outside. A big senton by Fenix for a 2. Penta then with a package pile driver on the apron. Looked fucking brutal. We had a Canadian Destroyer out on the floor, followed up by another package pile driver in the ring, and Penta, El Cero Miedo, wins the match. Excellent, excellent, excellent match for only 12 minutes. Eddie Kingston then took the mic, and he praised the match. He then shoved Fenix out of the ring, saying, "You don't need that dead weight." But then out of nowhere, the bastard Pac came back, and he took the microphone, and I'm going to attempt to do his accent. He goes, "Oi, oi, 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 Eddie Kingston! Did you think I was gonna stay gone forever? The bastard is back, and you've made a very big mistake." Next week, it was made official that we're gonna get the Blade versus Pac. The Blade versus Pac next week is going to be a great fucking match. Can't wait to see that. And I do believe that Pac is here to rekindle Death Triangle with the Lucha Bros, which will be great. I think this will be great. And then on top of that, we are going to see a feud between Eddie Kingston and Pac. So I cannot wait to see that. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Dynamite is doing some great stuff. Dynamite is doing some great shit. And we are going to have a huge, huge, huge holiday season as it relates to AEW Dynamite. Great show outside of the Jade Cargill incident. So I'm hoping that we do not see Shaq. I'm hoping we do not see any more of Jade Cargill. But anyway, before we get into NXT, we are going to check the chat, see what's going on in the chat. Shaq needs to stay with Chuck on TNT. Very true, Cameron Johnson. Danielle, why can't I stand the word ratchet? I don't know. You tell me. Jessica H. I'll clear all problems now. We should tell Vince to accept the match between DJ and Danielle. My money is on her. I would beat Danielle because with DJ Storms always wins. Please. Danielle, I'm taller, woman. Yeah, you may be taller, but I'm quicker. So, Jess H is apparently not a fan of AEW heels. Not her style. Danielle, do it after all. You worked hard for how you look. Go for it. Go for it. Whoever is on TV had a big wedgie. Why are we talking about wedgies? This is pro wrestling. I don't know what's going on there. I think that shit's going down in the chat that I am not aware of here. So, what else? Dynamite is in Newark, February 24th. Oh, yes, I know. We got 3 months till then. Hopefully, COVID will not be an issue. Something is different about DJ. I got a haircut. That's what's different. I got a haircut. So, admire it. Bask in my glory. Anyway, we're going to dive into NXT. And I got a lot of shit to say about NXT. A lot of people were airing their grievances on NXT. You the one that said wedgie first, Jessica, so don't act like I was the one that brought it to the conversation. You did. We're talking about NXT. You need a break? You can go take a break. I'm talking about NXT, and I'm going to rant. So I'm going from happy Dominic to pissed off Dominic, or DJ Storms, whatever the fuck you want to call me. You have a great evening, Earl. NXT. Listen. The wrestling on the show was not terrible. The show in itself was not a bad wrestling show. We got some great wrestling on the show, but if we're talking about the overall status and the booking plans in NXT, this was the final nail in the coffin that Vince McMahon just will never allow NXT to get back to prominence. And what happened in the beginning of NXT, it goes to show you that Vince McMahon never cared about NXT to begin with. Vince McMahon never cared about NXT to begin with, and Vince McMahon only cares about putting NXT on the USA Network so that way AEW will not peak over 1 million viewers. And the main roster influence has infiltrated NXT so much that NXT, after a great month of October, and they had a great month of October, they had a great NXT TakeOver 31, a great NXT Halloween Havoc, and everyone was like, oh my god, NXT is getting back to prominence. NXT is back on the right track. And then what happens in the beginning of NXT happens. And it's just the nail in the coffin that NXT is just a shell of what it usually was. And no wonder why no one cares about NXT. Johnny Gargano kicked off the show, and he welcomed everyone to Johnny Gargano's Wheel of Challengers. He says that he's cursed when he wins the title, but he's going to reverse the curse. He spins the wheel. It was rigged, obviously, and it landed on Leon Ruff. So we get a North American title match. Gargano toyed with Ruff early on. Damian Priest came in, and he was standing at ringside. Gargano went for a super kick, and Ruff with a crucifix pin. Leon Ruff wins the North American title. Leon Ruff, a guy that they signed from Evolve. They put Leon Ruff on NXT with no build, no storyline. They have not built him up. They've treated him like a jobber. This guy was fucking squashed by Karrion Kross back in April, and this guy just pinned Johnny Gargano to win the North American title. You have this guy. Go in there. No build whatsoever. Johnny Gargano wins the North American title, and you have Johnny Gargano lose the North American title. What was the fucking point of even taking the title off of Damian Priest? I had it in my mind that you were going to give the title to Johnny Gargano, and you were going to possibly build up Dexter Lumis. Why did you take the title off of Damian Priest if you were going to put it on Johnny Gargano only to have him lose it? I don't fucking understand. And then it came out that they were trying a new booking strategy. Oh, they were trying this new main roster booking strategy. This further proved my point. This is the third time that they've done this. This is the third time that they've done this within a month. 3 title matches, 3 shock title change. You're not going to develop a sense of interest just by doing shock title changes. Unpredictability is fine, but at the end of the day, if you are going to just place title matches for the sake of placing out title matches just to get a shock title change, just to try and generate a sense of unpredictability. Oh, here's what you're missing if you're not watching NXT. Oh my god, we have title matches. Championships could change hands at any single time. You're pretty much making your titles equivalent to the fucking 24/7 title. Shit like this, short title reigns, devalue not only the superstar, but the prestige of the championship. Leon Ruff got squashed by Karrion Kross. He's been treated like a jobber since he's gotten signed. No build, no storyline, no showcase whatsoever. And you have this guy go out there and beat Johnny Gargano for the North American title. This was some main roster-esque shit. This was some main roster-esque material, and this absolutely diminished credibility from Gargano. I don't give a shit how bulletproof he is. It diminished credibility from Gargano. It diminished credibility from the North American title. And it diminished credibility from the entire show as a whole. So much so that the entire vibe of the show was fucking killed throughout the rest of the night. And the show itself wasn't even a bad wrestling show. The show itself wasn't even a bad wrestling show, and everything was fucking ruined. Everything was fucking ruined because of this one decision right here. It is absolutely fucking inexcusable. It is absolutely fucking inexcusable. And then afterwards, we had Priest giving Leon Ruff the keys to his car. Gargano then came to the back. He complained. He said he hates wheels. Damian Priest laughed. And that was pretty much it. Vince McMahon doesn't give a shit what he does with NXT. Vince McMahon has taken over NXT since April, and he has slowly, piece by piece by piece by piece, torn down what Triple H built with NXT. Why? Because he knows that NXT gets all this fucking praise. There was even a report that Vince McMahon left NXT out of the fucking Survivor Series because he wanted NXT to go back to being inferior. He wanted NXT to be looked at as inferior, as the minor leagues, inferior to Raw and SmackDown. Not only that, look at what he's doing now. Now, on top of Leon Ruff winning the North American title, you can add this to the list of things that have completely killed NXT over the course of the last 8 fucking months. With Charlotte Flair winning the NXT Women's Championship, Drake Maverick's Real Life Firing being used as a storyline, Keith Lee being fast-tracked to the NXT title only to fast-track Karrion Kross to the NXT title, week-to-week booking, not focusing on building up new stars, people getting championship matches out of thin fucking air. Now this. Drake Maverick and Killian Dane in a fucking tag team, in a team hell no fucking rip-off partnership. NXT and what it once was is dead. NXT and what it once was is completely fucking gone. Vanished into thin air. And Vince McMahon probably knew. He probably saw that Triple H was making a comeback with NXT last month after the 2 great shows that they had last month. And Vince McMahon's like, oh, no. And he pulls out the rug right from under Triple H. And now we have Leon Ruff as the fucking North American title. No matter what happens, what fucking happens. And it's not even the fact that it's at 2 hours. It's not the fact that they're on the USA Network. It's not the fact that you need to put the main stars on television every week. It's not even that. It's the fact that Vince McMahon has single-handedly infiltrated NXT. Like a fucking Trojan horse. Like the Trojan horse. Vince McMahon has infiltrated NXT and is destroying it from within. Brick by brick. Tearing it down from within. It absolutely disgusts me. It pisses me off to no end. I am wasting 3 hours of my Saturday, 3+ hours sometimes of my Saturday. 3+ hours of my Saturday, and all I want to do is relax and talk about professional wrestling because I love professional wrestling. I don't want to yell, I don't want to scream, I don't want to complain. No one does. If anyone legitimately has fun yelling and screaming and ranting and raving and complaining, then there's something mentally fucking wrong with them. I don't want to scream and yell and complain. But what the fuck am I supposed to do? Sit here and act like everything is sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns? Moving on. Jake Atlas versus Santos Escobar. This was for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. This was probably Jake Atlas's best match in NXT to date, and it really does go to show you how good Santos Escobar is. This was a great match right here. Atlas was on the attack early on with some vicious chops. He actually showcased a lot of aggression, which I can appreciate from Jake Atlas. Jake Atlas showcased a lot of aggression here. Escobar then took over control. He toyed with Atlas. Atlas then came back with a vicious forearm. We had a super kick to Mendoza and Wilde. He used the lead pipe against both of them. We had a springboard blockbuster for a 2 in the ring. Wilde and Mendoza then got ejected from ringside. Escobar with a Hurricane Rana off the top. Frog splash for a 2. Atlas then with a roundhouse kick for a 2. Atlas was then sent into the steps. Atlas fought back, sent Escobar to the outside. Atlas with a very sloppy looking suicide dive. Very sloppy looking suicide dive. He did recover from it, but it was a very sloppy looking suicide dive. So back in the ring, we had a nice combo by Atlas with a rolling senton, a punt kick, and a standing moonsault for a 2. Atlas went for the rainbow DDT, but Escobar caught him with the butterfly shoulder breaker for the win, and Escobar retains the NXT Cruiserweight Championship in a great match. Definitely the match of the night, for me personally. Now, they delivered a great match. Escobar brought Atlas to his best match in NXT to date, but that still doesn't excuse the fact that Atlas has done nothing to earn an NXT Cruiserweight Championship opportunity. He's been losing to Legado del Fantasma, and on top of that, while Escobar is great, they are not doing anything overwhelmingly exciting with Legado del Fantasma. So why should we care about Legado del Fantasma? Great match, don't get me wrong, great match. We got some great wrestling. But again, the fact that you did not build up Jake Atlas in any way, shape, or form to be credible against Santos Escobar, and you're not doing anything of relevancy with Legado del Fantasma, they're just there, why should we care? Great match still. So we were supposed to get Xia Li versus Raquel Gonzalez before Boa came out. Said that Xia isn't here. You can't have a match with Xia. He apologized. Raquel then booted him and beat the shit out of him. Raquel with the one-armed powerbomb afterwards. The lights went out. We had a dragon come across the Capitol Wrestling Center screen. And then an old Asian man handed Boa a letter. So now Boa's getting letters. I'm not sure what's going on with this storyline, and to be quite honest with you, it doesn't look like anyone cares. It doesn't even look like anyone cares about the overall NXT product as we speak, which sucks. So then we had Candice LeRae versus Toni Storm. Decent match, nothing too special here. Candice kept the pressure on Toni. Candice then missed the moonsault. Storm with a headbutt. Storm with the fisherman suplex for a 2. Candice with a thrust kick for a 2. Candice then with a roll-up with her feet on the ropes, and Candice LeRae wins the match. Afterwards, we had Storm attacking LeRae before Ghostface, the individual that helped Candice and Johnny back at Halloween Havoc. She attacked. Shotzi came out before LeRae and Ghostface then neutralized Shotzi, and then Ghostface unmasked to be revealed as Indy Hartwell. No one cares about Indy Hartwell. Indy Hartwell is a terrible professional wrestler. She has not even explained to us why she is even helping the Garganos, to be quite honest with you, and I don't think anyone even cares. Indy Hartwell is completely irrelevant as she is, and to be quite honest with you, if she's going to be standing side by side with the Garganos, it's really going to devalue the Garganos' character and the Garganos' credibility as a whole. I'm sorry. Toni Storm loses. She could take a loss. She's expendable right now. And she'll be built up later on to face off against Io Shirai, because Io Shirai is undoubtedly going into 2021 with that championship. There's no way that she doesn't. We then had Timothy Thatcher versus Dexter Lumis. Thatcher used his submission game to neutralize Lumis. Lumis then with a beautiful spine buster. Lumis was then sent shoulder first into the post. Lumis then with a back suplex and a jumping leg drop. I love Lumis's fluidity. Lumis is great. Lumis is great. We then had We then had Loomis then with a beautiful senton bomb on Thatcher. Cameron Grimes then interfered. Thatcher then with a crucifix roll-up for the win. Decent match here between these two. And then afterwards, Grimes and Loomis got into it. Grimes then targeted the shoulder, and then he put a burlap sack over Dexter Loomis's face, and he says, "I'm not scared of you, Loomis," after he hit the cave-in. So obviously, we are going to get another match between Mr. Cameron Grimes and Dexter Loomis, or, as he says it, Cameron Grimes, because I'm going to the moon. So, Cameron Grimes gonna get another match with Dexter Loomis, and we are more likely not gonna have Loomis get the victory. Loomis more likely than not should be positioned to be facing the North American champion, whoever it fucking is. Hope to fucking God we get that title on Dexter Loomis sooner rather than later. We don't fucking need Leon Ruff as the fucking champion. I would much rather fucking take Cameron Grimes! Cameron Grimes! Because next week, we're going to have Dexter Loomis versus Cameron Grimes. And I'm taking that North American title. And I'm going to the moon. I'd much rather take him as the North American champion than fucking Leon Ruff. At least Cameron Grimes has a little bit of credibility in him. Even if he is a fucking redneck. Ciampa, Tommaso Ciampa. My God, I love me some Tommaso Ciampa. He was in the back, and he says that when you bark loud enough, people will fear your bite. Maybe I'm a little bit too old school. Maybe I'm the last of a dying breed. This 2020 locker room culture is going to change, and Tommaso Ciampa is that change. Finn Balor will be making an appearance next week, so I assume that Tommaso Ciampa will be interrupting Finn Balor, and we could possibly get Tommaso Ciampa versus Finn Balor for the NXT Championship. That would be Balor's next feud before the year is over. But here's something that I want to talk about. Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai is being promoted next week for the NXT Women's Championship. Why? Why are you promoting this match away for free? Are you really going to put this match for free on television because you want to spike up some ratings? Are you going to do another shock title change and you're going to have Rhea Ripley win the championship? Or is this a case of Vince McMahon nixing the plans for one final takeover before the end of the year because he just announced Tribute to the Troops? He announced Tribute to the Troops on December 6th. That's a week before TLC, more than likely. You just announced Tribute to the Troops for December 6th. That was the date for the next rumored takeover. Are you even going to do a takeover? Or are you just completely nixing these plans, and are you going to spread out? You have three major feuds being built up on NXT right now. You got Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai, you got Tommaso Ciampa and Finn Balor, and you got Pat McAfee's posse versus the Undisputed Era, which more likely than not, it could end up in War Games. Are you going to do all those matches away for free on television just to try and spike up ratings? Are you really going to do the Undisputed Era versus Pat McAfee's posse on the October 2nd episode of AEW Dynamite, on the October 2nd episode of NXT, just to counter-program Dynamite? Are you really basing all of your booking decisions off of what AEW is doing? Take your mind off of All Elite Wrestling. Your show is suffering because of your negligence. Your show is suffering because of your shit booking decisions. And if Vince McMahon really canceled the plans for another fucking takeover, shame on him. Fuck him. I don't understand why you're promoting this match on free television. This is a takeover-worthy match, and you're just going to waste it away for free on television. Why? Just to try and spike up ratings? Are you really going to do another shock title change? And even if you do a non-finish, why? Why fucking do a non-finish? Non-finishes don't work. Non-finishes actually devalue the entire quality of the show. Non-finishes actually piss people off. If you're not going to give us a legitimate finish, don't book the fucking match. So then in the main event, before we move on to NXT UK, NXT UK actually feels more like NXT. So we get Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch versus Breezango. This is for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Pat McAfee took the mic. He says Pete Dunne has been on a terror. He's been a terror to the brand ever since making his return. Chair to the back of O'Reilly, dead. Car door to... Then he says this about Killian Dane. He says, car door to big, hairy Irish bastard's face, dead. Now, I hate what they're doing with Pat McAfee. I hate what they're doing with NXT right now, but that was actually fucking hilarious. I actually laughed at that. Imagine that. Pat McAfee, who's not even an active NXT superstar, was the most entertaining part about NXT. Think about that. So he hyped up his business being worth $150 million. He then joined the commentary team before the match. They waited for Breezango. The match started. The fight was on immediately. Burch was then sent into the chain. Breezango kept the pressure on Burch. Breeze with a super kick to Oni. He then sent Burch into McAfee. Fandango then blocked the superplex from Oni. We had Drake Maverick coming in. He took out Pat McAfee with a cannonball senton off the apron. Fandango hit the last dance on Oni for a close 2 count. Dunne then absolutely leveled Maverick with a clothesline. McAfee then caused a distraction before Dunne knocked out Breeze off the apron, and then we had the elevated DDT, and Lorcan and Burch retain. Good match, but again, the entire vibe of the show was killed at the beginning after the incident with Leon Ruff and Johnny Gargano. Then afterwards, we had a big brawl breaking out. We had an X-Plex on the apron. McAfee then with the punt kick to Breeze. They stared at the camera. McAfee said, "We're the greatest. You suck. Cheers." And that was that. That was NXT for you. So let's check the chat before we get into NXT UK. We have 3 more shows to dissect. We have Peanuts returned. We'll just call you Peanuts for now. Peanuts is a little down. Hopefully I'll be able to cheer you up for the rest of the stream. Jessica H. I was in my hallway and I heard him screaming. Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do. Earl Cole. WWE is doing things for you to discuss and to raise conversation about the current product. I'm only raising conversation about the current product because I love to shit all over this company, because when I shit on this company, it entertains the fuck out of everyone that watches me. Because if I did not have this, I would not be watching. I'm the one that's generating conversation, not WWE. Danielle says, Herpy is watching me. Hi there, Herpy. Earl Cole says, you're making the NXT brand irrelevant because of the booking decisions. You've done a great job of helping the brand. Hashtag, what are you doing, WWE? Cameron Johnson, the ghost of Ho-Ho Loon. Danielle obviously laughing. She loves it when I do the Cameron Grimes impersonation. Cameron Johnson. Cameron Johnson. Are you related to Cameron Grimes? No, I'm just kidding. I don't agree with Io versus Rhea for next week. NXT TakeOver Tribute to the Troops. Why would they combine two events? Why would they combine 2 events? All right. Let's get into NXT UK as we are going into our 3rd hour here on the live edition of the Lightning Flash update. So NXT UK, I will not be shitting on NXT UK actually, because NXT UK was actually a good show. Well, tribute to the troops, we gotta pay our tribute to the troops. I understand if WWE wants to pay the tribute to the troops. So NXT UK was actually very good. NXT UK, we actually had a lot of good material on NXT UK. We actually started off NXT UK with a very, very, very good tag team match between The Hunt, Amir Jordan, and Kenny Williams. So Williams and Jordan, they kept the aggression on The Hunt. We had a suicide dive to Boar. Williams then took out Primate. We had a crossbody to Boar by Amir Jordan for a 2 count. The Hunt was then isolated, or they isolated Williams. They isolated Williams after Williams was sent off the apron, and he landed hard on his knee. We then had Jordan getting the hot tag, roll through flatliner to Boar. We had a Swanton bomb, a Bomb-I-A bomb on Wild Boar, but Primate saved it. Williams then with a corner bulldog for a 2. Primate and Boar then caught a springboard double back elbow by Williams. Jordan got the hot tag, but the Hunt absolutely leveled him. Boar leveled him with a clothesline. The Hunt then took out Kenny Williams, and the Hunt hit a diving double headbutt combination, and the Hunt actually win. This was a very good tag team match to kick off the show. Tag team wrestling alive and well in NXT UK. Very, very, very much looking forward to seeing what they do with the Hunt, and I would actually love to see the Hunt versus Gallus for the NXT UK tag team titles. I'm actually liking this partnership with Eddie Dennis. This is actually a very, very interesting scenario to see unfold. We then had Jack Stars versus Rampage Brown. And this was a very standard showcase for Rampage Brown. We had the Dr. Bomb connecting for the win. I'm going to need to see a little bit more of Rampage Brown before I make a full-fledged judgment on him, because right now I can't really make a full-blown judgment on whether or not he's going to be a big star. I don't want to see another Ridge Holland incident, if you know what I mean. So we're going to wait and see what Rampage Brown can do. He's physically impressive. He looks intimidating. Don't get me wrong. He looks intimidating, he looks physically impressive, but I want to see what he can do with someone like a Trent Seven, or possibly an Alexander Wolf, or a Noam Dar, or a Joe Coffey, or an Eddie Dennis. I want to see him in there in a competitive match. Squash matches really don't do anything for me. A squash match is a squash match. Anyone could have a squash match. I want to see what you can do in a competitive environment. If you know what I mean, if that makes sense. So we had a video package, and this was to hype up the Falls Count Anywhere match next week between Kaylee Ray and Piper Niven. Kaylee Ray, right now, undoubtedly, Kaylee Ray is the best female heel in all of WWE. I am absolutely fucking loving what Kaylee Ray is doing. Laylee Ray. If you've learned anything, Laylee Ray is the NXT UK Women's Champion. Kaylee Ray is doing some excellent heel work. I love how Kaylee Ray just comes off as an arrogant bitch, just comes off as a complete cunt. The way that she plays her character and the cockiness and the confidence that exudes off of her every single time she comes out there, it is absolutely amazing. That is how a heel, that is how a women's heel should be acting. She's actually surpassed Shayna Baszler, because Shayna Baszler ain't doing jack shit on the main roster as women's tag team champion, except being a second fiddle to Nia Jax putting Lana through a table every fucking week. Kaylee Ray is where it's at. Unfortunately, I do not see Piper Niven winning. If Piper Niven doesn't win next week, then she's never going to fucking win. If anything, I see Kaylee Ray retaining, and I see Kaylee Ray and Eva Valkyrie being the next NXT Women's title program. And we're going to see Eva Valkyrie win the NXT UK Women's Championship. So, speaking of the women's division, we actually had some women's action here on NXT UK with Xia Brookside and Nina Samuels This is a fairly solid match. Fairly solid match here between these two women. We had Nina Samuels saying that this is her spotlight before Zaya came back with a series of forearm strikes. We had a Hurricane Rana out of the corner. We had a crossbody for a 2. Nina Samuels then with the boot under the jaw for a 2. Brookside then with a code breaker for a 2. Nina Samuels went up to the middle rope. Zaya Brookside then went sailing into the turnbuckle after Nina Samuels cartwheeled out of it, but she landed hard on her knee, and Zaya Brookside was not having any of it. She rolled up Samuels for the win. We actually got a fairly decent women's match here, and then afterwards, Nina attacked Zaya after the match. She was faking the injury and then hit the Nina Goroshi after the match, obviously playing up to the cocky heel character that she portrays. Next week, like I said, we got Kaylee Ray versus Piper Niven. Falls Count Anywhere match for the NXT UK Women's title. Going to be a great match, and they are setting up NXT over the course of the next few weeks to be very, 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 very newsworthy. We got the NXT UK Women's title being defended. More likely than not, we're probably going to have an NXT UK Tag Team title match with Pretty Deadly and Gallus. Definitely would love to see that. And then in the main event, we had Trent Seven versus Dave Mastiff. This was for the NXT UK Heritage Cup semi-finals. This was to see who was going on to the finals to face off against A-Kid. Now, I have said that the British round system is outdated. I've said that the British round system doesn't work. I've said that the British round system is not a very good system in order to put out there in modern day wrestling. Too much stop and start and stop and start. It really hampers down the match, but I will say this. Dave Mastiff and Trent Seven, they told the best story out of any match in the tournament thus far. This was probably the best tournament match out of any match in the NXT UK Heritage Cup tournament thus far. I thought that this match was very, very, very well booked. And it made Trent Seven into the biggest babyface on the brand for at least one night. And if this had a full-blown crowd, the crowd would have been getting behind Trent Seven like never before. Because Trent Seven is just that good of a babyface. He's one of the founding fathers of NXT UK. They told a very, very, very good story here. I loved what they did. So, in the first round, we had a double crossbody to end the first round. Neither man scored a fall. We then had Trent Seven with a roll-up in the second round to get the first fall. We had Mastiff and Seven going back and forth in the third round. Seven with a DDT on Mastiff in the third round for a 2. We then had a big superplex by Mastiff that only got a 2 count. Mastiff then with the knockout forearm. But Trent Seven was saved by the bell. He was saved by the time clock. Trent Seven was then asked if he could continue. He said yes. Mastiff then with the Into the Void cannonball, and Mastiff gets the win in the fourth round. Mastiff scores the second fall, ties up the score, and then they go into the fifth round, and Trent Seven was able to avoid the cannonball. He was selling as if he couldn't move. And then out of nowhere, Trent Seven was able to pick up Dave Mastiff. Yes, Trent Seven picked up Dave Mastiff in the Burning Hammer for the 1, 2, 3, and Trent Seven advances. Trent Seven gets the win. Trent Seven advances to the finals, and now he faces A-Kid. And I think this is going to be a great way to get A-Kid over. I am calling A-Kid to get the win here and win the first ever NXT UK Heritage Cup tournament. They're telling a great story here. They're telling a great story with A-Kid being the young up-and-comer and Trent Seven being the one who's experienced to get this NXT UK Heritage Cup tournament on the map. I think it's a great story, and I think they're going to put on a great match in 2 weeks in the finals. NXT UK was very good, much better than NXT as well. They're actually building towards important material, and they're actually building up new stars. SmackDown, I can't say the same thing, because SmackDown this week was fucking boring, and I mean fucking boring. They did not do SmackDown any favors, and it's funny because the last couple weeks, SmackDown's been consistently bearable. Not this week. We got 2 decent matches this week on SmackDown, but that was not enough to improve the lackluster show that was SmackDown. It was fucking boring. So Roman and Heyman kicked off the show. Reigns says the numbers don't lie. Jey Uso was the Uso that was asking, that everyone was asking, which one are you? Now he's main event Jey Uso. He says at Survivor Series he'll establish his dominance, and then out of nowhere, Drew McIntyre came out. Drew McIntyre came out. He's a Raw superstar, obviously. Draft obviously means fucking nothing. He says, I don't know how valuable your time is, but he says he'll be beating Orton, and he'll be facing Roman at Survivor Series. Drew said, hey, Heyman, you remember when I made your client my bitch, and I beat him in 5 minutes at WrestleMania? He says, when Roman left, Drew McIntyre stepped up, and he says that he's the man now, and he'll prove it at Survivor Series. Reigns says that, yeah, I left, but now I'm back. Reigns says that ever since he came back, no one knows who Drew McIntyre is. Nobody is watching Raw. You're telling me no one's watching Raw. Just look at the fucking ratings. So that was a shoot right there. No one's watching Raw. Tell me about it, Roman. Smart guy he is. No one's watching Raw because they are watching me. They're watching SmackDown. He asks, who is Drew McIntyre? And Drew said he's the guy that's going to beat Orton and win the WWE title. Jey Uso then came out and he asked, what's he doing here? And then he challenged Drew to a match before Drew shoved Jey, but Roman held Jey back, and they both left. Listen. The segment itself was very good. The promo battle between Roman and Drew was very good. But why are you having Drew McIntyre come out and talk to Roman Reigns as if he's already facing him at Survivor Series when he's not the WWE Champion? Why are you having Drew McIntyre come out, have a face-to-face confrontation with Roman Reigns, teasing a match when the match isn't even official for Survivor Series? Are you realizing that you fucked up at Hell in a Cell? Are you going to have Drew McIntyre win the WWE Championship? And if you do, I'm going to question, why did you even have Drew McIntyre lose the WWE Championship? Drew McIntyre should have retained the WWE title at Hell in a Cell if that's the case. You're hyping up this match as if it's definitely going to happen. Let me ask you a question. What happens if Randy Orton wins the match? What happens if Randy Orton wins the match on Monday? So this segment would be for absolutely fucking nothing. This segment would be for absolutely fucking nothing. So why'd you even make it? It's illogical. It makes no sense. Why did you even make the segment? Why did you even book the segment between Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns if you were just going to have Randy Orton retain the WWE title on Monday? Unless you're going to have Drew McIntyre win the title. And even then, you just made the match on Monday that much more predictable. So no one's going to even bother tuning in. I wouldn't be surprised if they get a 1.4 on Monday. I don't understand. I don't fucking understand. What was the fucking point? Yes, it was a very good segment, but if you were going to do this segment, why didn't you just have Drew McIntyre retain the WWE title? Maybe you realize that Randy Orton and Edge doesn't fucking need the championship. Maybe you realize that people are going to give Randy Orton and The Fiend backlash. Maybe you realize that Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre should have gone a different way at Hell in a Cell. Or are you just that lazy that you're going to have Drew McIntyre win the title back only to put another fucking match and get a TLC match out of Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton at fucking TLC on December 13th? Should that be the date of TLC? I don't fucking understand the motive behind this. And then I hear that Vince McMahon apparently rewrote the script a few hours before SmackDown. Typical fucking Vince. Roman was in the back. He was going on a tangent saying, I don't need you to fight my battles for me, Jay. You don't run the show. I run the show. Jay said that he's going to handle it. Roman said, you better. So then we get Sami Zayn versus Apollo Crews for the Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn took the mic and he complained about having to defend his title. He was interrupted by Apollo Crews. Crews, then with a military press snake eyes in tribute to The Undertaker. Crews with a deadlift suplex, enziguri, and a standing moonsault for a 2. Sami then ripped the apron off of the ring, and then he tied Apollo's leg within the strings that held the ring apron and the ring mat covering down. And he tied Apollo's leg up, and he slid into the ring, beat the count, and retained the title. Listen. First off, I'm going to get this out of the way. Sami Zayn's a fucking genius. He's a genius. He's an absolute genius. No one is discrediting, and I'm not going to discredit the resourcefulness and the genius nature of Sami Zayn. He's a fucking idiot when it comes to politics, but he's a genius on WWE television. I don't understand, and this is me thinking logically here. When Sami Zayn came back, from his hiatus. He came back from his hiatus, and he was actually being booked correctly. He wasn't being a pussy. He was going in there, he was wrestling. He was going in there, he was being resourceful, and he was entertaining. He put on a great ladder match at Clash of Champions, and he won the championship back. He actually fucking wrestled. He wrestled AJ, and it was a very good match. He wrestled Jeff Hardy in a great match on SmackDown Live to retain the Intercontinental title. His resourcefulness is absolutely fucking amazing. And I'm thinking to myself, oh wow, they're actually booking him like a fucking champion. They're actually booking him like a credible champion. Not like how he was being booked when he first won the title and he was running away from fucking Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania of all fucking shows. I'm thinking to myself, oh wow, they're actually booking him like a champion. And then we get this match, and I'm not even going to go off on a tangent. I am not even going to go off on a tangent about why Apollo Crews doesn't deserve an Intercontinental title match, because he doesn't. We already know he doesn't. We already know the guy doesn't deserve a title match. But what I am concerned with is the fact that this match was placed on SmackDown, and I'm thinking to myself, oh wow, you give these guys 10, 11, 12 minutes, and we're going to get a great match. It's going to make the title look good. It's going to make Sami Zayn look good. It's going to make Sami Zayn look strong going into his match with Bobby Lashley. So I'm happy about that. I was happy about this match because I thought we were going to get a great fucking match. But instead, you have this match go 3 fucking minutes, and Sami Zayn wins via a countout in 3 minutes just by tying Apollo Crews' leg up in the strings between the bottom of the ring. So I don't understand why you couldn't have just did that ending after a 10, 11, 12-minute competitive match. A 3-minute match does not do Sami Zayn or the IC title any favors. It actually devalues the IC title. You're pretty much making the IC title in the same category as the US title, because Bobby Lashley, he's only been defending the United States title in 3-4-minute matches. He squashed Slapjack. He squashed Titus O'Neil. So now you're having Sami do the same fucking thing. Why not have these guys go 11, 12, 13 minutes and put on a great match? It would have made the show and the title a little bit better. But what the fuck do I know? Shit like this does not do Zayn, the title, or the show any favors. Let them go. Let them go. Let them compete. Let them fucking wrestle. We watch a wrestling show for wrestling. Let them fucking wrestle. It's not that fucking hard. So, then we got Sasha Banks coming out. She said she's Still the SmackDown Women's Champion. She's on top of her game, and everyone is put on notice. She was about to call out Carmella before Bayley came out, which I don't know why Bayley is still out there. I don't know why Bayley is still tied up with Sasha. Carmella then attacked Sasha from behind, gave Sasha a face buster, and she stood tall, and that was that. That was pretty much that. Carmella's done absolutely nothing to deserve a SmackDown Live women's title opportunity. What she does between now and WrestleMania is pretty much irrelevant because Bianca Belair is ultimately the end goal. But Sasha could possibly carry Carmella to a good match, but at the end of the day, it still doesn't excuse the fact that Carmella is not a serious threat whatsoever. She's been gone for 6 fucking months, and you expect us to take her as a serious threat here against Sasha Banks when A, she hasn't even competed in a match, she hasn't even gotten any wins, and she's done nothing to deserve a title opportunity. So why? Why are we supposed to take Carmella as a serious threat? Why is anyone supposed to care? Dolph Ziggler versus Otis. Oh yeah, like we haven't seen that one before. Otis wins in 2 minutes with a Vader bomb, and then afterwards, Chad Gable offered Otis a pamphlet to the Alpha Academy. Yeah. What did I tell you about Chad Gable? Name change means nothing. Name change means nothing. He's still going to be mistreated. He is still going to be misused. He is not going to be going anywhere. He is not going to be moved up the rankings in any way, shape, or form. People like him will never succeed until Vince McMahon is dead. Moving on. Rey Mysterio and Rollins. Final chapter, no holds barred match. Thank God it's fucking over. This was probably the best thing on the show. So, Mysterio then with a beautiful tornado DDT on the apron to Rollins. Mysterio was then using his quickness against Rollins, sent Rollins into the barricade with a sunset flip powerbomb. Rollins then caught Mysterio with a Falcon Arrow, dropped him on the announce table. Rey mounted a comeback with a head scissor takedown, wheelbarrow bulldog for a 2. Rollins then hit Rey Mysterio with the steps right in front of his family. Rey then draped Rollins over the steel steps and then hit a baseball slide splash to Rollins on the steps, which actually looked great. Coming back from commercial, Rollins brought in a table. Rollins then was on the top rope. He blocked the Hurricane Rana from Mysterio and then hit a power bomb to Mysterio through a table. Rey was able to kick out. Dominic tried to help before Rollins took him out. Rey then with a drop kick to the chair into Rollins' face. Murphy then gave the chair to Rollins. Murphy then set up Mysterio for Rollins before he turned on Rollins and hit him with a bicycle knee. Rollins was then draped over the ropes. Rey botched the 619, but outside of this one botch, he recovered, hit the 619, and then hit a Viva la Razza frog splash, and Rey wins. Very good, no holds barred match. Thank fucking Christ this feud is over, minus the 619 botch. And then afterwards, Rey extended his hand to Murphy. Murphy then accepted. He shook Dominic's hand, and Rey's wife, Angie, hugged him too. That was that. Probably the best thing on the show. Minus the 619 botch. This was a very good no-holds-barred match. Thank God this feud is over. Now, let's build up Murphy on his own, because Murphy is the man to take the Intercontinental Championship off of Sami Zayn. So we got Rollins and Murphy going down next week. Now let's get Murphy in the Intercontinental Championship title hunt. Him versus Sami Zayn is a classic waiting to happen. Chelsea Green was in the back with Adam Pearce before another qualifying match for the Women's Survivor Series team, and apparently a triple threat match was made into a fatal four-way match, and it was Natalya versus Tamina versus Liv Morgan versus Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green, great to see Chelsea Green. Breaking news, Chelsea Green has been found. But you bring her to SmackDown with no build, no hype-up packages, no nothing. She's been off of television since the end of May, and now you just put her out there on SmackDown without any hype whatsoever. Chelsea Green could be a great asset to the division. And here's another thing. Chelsea Green actually broke her fucking wrist. She actually broke her fucking wrist. If she wasn't even going to win the match to begin with, and you were just going to put this woman out there with 3 women with no build, no story, no hype up, no nothing, why did you even put her out there? She shouldn't have even been a part of the match. Now she broke her fucking wrist. She broke her fucking wrist, and now she's going to be out for God knows how long. Way to go! Vince McMahon doesn't give a shit about talent. Way to go. Liv Morgan won here. Liv Morgan qualified for Survivor Series. She actually looked very nice in this match, did Liv Morgan. I'm actually very much looking forward to seeing what Liv Morgan can do in a Survivor Series matchup. I'm actually very much looking forward to seeing what Liv Morgan can do, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how Liv Morgan handles herself at Survivor Series. Big E was in the back with the Street Profits again. Who fucking cares? Did I care? No. And then we had Drew McIntyre versus Jey Uso. Drew McIntyre then toyed with Jey Uso early on. Jey with a super kick. Jey with a Samoan drop for a 2. Drew McIntyre mounted a comeback with a big belly-to-belly overhead throw. We then had Jey with a soul kick and a pop-up spine buster by Drew for a 2. Super kick by Jey. Drew then recovered with a big Tree of Woe throw. Drew was going for the Claymore. Jey dodged it before Roman and Heyman came out to distract Drew McIntyre. Like a dumbass, Drew McIntyre was like, oh, looking on the ramp. Jey took over control, sending Drew into the post. Roman told Jey to make him understand. And then we had Drew McIntyre getting punched repeatedly by Jey. Drew then recovered, hit a Claymore for the win. This was a damn good match, but ultimately it made no sense because you're pretty much hyping up a match that's not even confirmed for Survivor Series, and now you're pretty much giving away an ending. It's either going to be Drew McIntyre wins the title and we get this match, and I'm going to ask, why did you even take the title off of Drew to begin with? Or Randy Orton wins, and I'm going to ask, why did you even hype up Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns at SmackDown? Are you really that desperate that you need to bring in fucking Drew McIntyre and say, fuck the brand split? Because you want to generate some ratings? It's unfucking believable. It is absolutely unfucking believable. I did not give a shit. Who fucking cares? SmackDown was fucking boring. It was fucking terrible. Afterwards, we got 205 Live. Final show before we get out of here, but let's check the chat. Thank you for the smile, Danielle. I don't know why Apollo Crews is getting an Intercontinental title match, Adam. Your guess is as good as mine. Ah, yes, Adam, the idiot known as Dolph Ziggler. Tell me about it. 205 Live. This was the 205th episode of 205 Live. The 205th episode of 205 Live. Tony Nese versus Arya Daivari versus Ashanti, the Adonis, versus Kurt Stallion versus August Gray. This was a fatal 5-way number 1 contenders match to determine the number 1 contender for Santos Escobar's Cruiserweight Championship. This was fun, but it was overbooked at times. I don't know what the fuck they were going for. Fun, but overbooked. So Adonis got some nice offense in early on with a big back body drop to Nese. We had a spine buster to Daivari for a 2. We had some nice back and forth between August Gray, formerly known as Anthony Green, and Kurt Stallion. Nese and Daivari then wore down Stallion with a double stalling suplex. Gray then got taken out. We had a triangle moonsault missed by Tony Nese. Gray then got draped over the table face first. Adonis then got taken out. Stallion was caught with, or Stallion came in rather. Stallion came in with some vicious knees and a hesitation drop kick. Ripcord pull into the DDT. Nese broke up that count. Kurt Stallion then with an air raid neck breaker onto his knee, which looked brutal. 4-2. Gray then with a butterfly DDT off the ropes. Adonis then came in with a Rochambeau in tribute to Ricky Starks on August Gray, but Daivari saved that. We had a rock bottom by Daivari, and then a Persian Lion splash by Daivari, but Stallion came in off the top. He actually overshot the splash and caught Daivari with his knees, which actually looked very sloppy. Stallion came off the top. He overshot the splash. Daivari still kicked out. Nice then with a 450. Back and forth action. 450 on Stallion, but Stallion was able to kick it out. We then had the Bollywood Boys. The Bollywood Boys then came out, and they took out August Gray and Ashanti the Adonis. We then had Everrise coming out to attack Adonis and Gray. Kurt Stallion came in to help, so they took out Everrise and the Bollywood Boys before Daivari came in and hit Adonis with the gold chain before Gray saved that match. Nice then took out Gray. Stallion and Nice were on the top rope, and Stallion with a beautiful, I've never seen this before, a beautiful reverse Spanish fly on Nice, which looked awesome. And Kurt Stallion wins this fatal five-way match. Kurt Stallion is getting a future NXT Cruiserweight Championship opportunity, which I am very, very, very pleased about. I'm actually very much looking forward to seeing what Stallion can do. He's a little bit green. He's a little bit green in the ring. He's a little bit boring, but I'd actually love to see what Kurt Stallion can truthfully do. I'm actually very interested in seeing how Kurt Stallion handles himself in the ring. I think it's going to be a very, very, very nice showcase for Kurt Stallion against Santos Escobar. He's not going to win. But it's certainly going to be a match that's going to elevate Kurt Stallion and put Kurt Stallion on the map. Ladies and gents, I think you are looking to get out of here. You're looking to get out of here. That wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. Thank you very much. Thank you each and every single one of you who tuned into the stream. I greatly appreciate you. I will place all the links in the description after the stream when I get the chance. Please, please, please check out all the links. Like, comment, and subscribe. We are over 20 likes. You guys did awesome here. I'm very, very thankful to have an awesome fan base like you guys. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. Check out the rewind for Full Gear if you missed it. Next Friday afternoon, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Listen to this. I will be joined by Mr. Nick Fury, leader of the Furious Nation, on YouTube. We are going to be dissecting everything Survivor Series related. Nick Fury will be joining me for the rundown for WWE Survivor Series 2020. So set your calendar dates next week for Friday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, November 20th. Thank you so much, Jess. You have an awesome day. You have an awesome, awesome, awesome weekend. You have a great evening, Danielle. God bless you. I love you all. I'm DJ Storms. This has been the Lightning Flash Update. This has probably been one of the best Lightning Flash updates that I think I've done. So, God bless y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will catch you all next week for the rundown for Survivor Series 2020. And, of course, live Lightning Flash Update next week. Catch me on the Twitter sticks, Instagram, Periscope, Facebook. Catch me taking my notes live on Monday for Raw and Wednesday for Dynamite and Friday for SmackDown. We're going to have a great, great, great week, and it's going to be a great month. It's going to be a great holiday season. You guys have an awesome weekend.